What's going on? I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
The name's Diggins. Chris Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Your name is Chris?
Yeah, listen, we don't talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Shocker. Wow.
The return of the shocker himself, Chris Diggins.
Yeah. From Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Everybody, the reviews are in. The last two episodes of the podcast, some of the best episodes in the past couple of years.
But Diggins has come back, much like James Bond, worldly from his globe-trotting adventures in a country that has featured in James Bond movies for sure. I'm sure it's come up.
From Russia with Love has a big Istanbul scene at the start.
So yeah, that is where you got your James Bondian swagger.
Yep.
And you're back, baby.
I'm back in the United
back.
States. I can feel all the joy and joie de vivre that I picked up from being on vacation just melting out of my body now that I'm back.
Yeah, welcome to compromise. That's what we're big on this last couple weeks.
My God.
You know.
Oh boy.
Trans fats, big on trans fats, right? Probably a lot more
we
trans
love
fats
that.
than where you are.
And
Well, I wouldn't say there were zero trans fats in Turkey.
Okay.
and I mean, and we got movies. We got lots of movies.
So many
You came back
movies.
at the perfect time because there's about to be 3 big ones in a row. We got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We got Dune, Let There Be Paul. And then we got James Bond, what's it called? No Time to Die. Let There Be Time to Die.
Too much time to die. An
Yeah.
incredible amount of time to die. Nearly 2.5 hours time to die.
Yeah, it's a long movie, but it flies. Well, we'll talk about it. But because I wouldn't say it flies by either. The pacing is good. Like it's not like this where it's fucking like Jesus Christ. Where in the movie are we right now? 45 minutes. Like that. I do remember having that thought. I want to check what 45 minutes is in this movie. Oh yeah, it's like the car chase. It's like when he does the first Spectre meeting. That's like 45 minutes. Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
So we are going to talk about this week in anticipation of James Bond, Let There Be Time to Die. We will be talking about James Bond, Spectre.
Whoa.
Very exciting. Before that, Diggins, you listened to the other episodes. What was your favorite part of last week's episode?
Yeah, what did you like?
If you had to guess.
My favorite part of last week's episode, I would have to say the part where you guys pointed out how silly it was that they just dismissed the movement that they sensed as a bird that would fly away. I mean, you're
Isn't
doing
that
really
silly?
dangerous experiments, guys. You've got to check, you know? You've got to really be careful about this sort of thing because you might make a Sandman.
You might
Yeah.
make a Sandman. And what if you make a Sandman? A person who can make you dream by sprinkling dust on you.
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yeah. So, am I correct in assuming that I am the only one among the three of us who has actually read Neil Gaiman's Sandman?
Seems like
So
it.
I listened to the beginning of the first audiobook that they just released and was like, I'll definitely check this out eventually, but that's as close as I've gotten to it. I'm aware, I've read like the Wikipedia page because I've had to figure out who like Sandman, like what that character is because Dream shows up in a Dark Knight Metal crossover from maybe 2 years ago. In the DC universe, there was like a crossover where all the Batmen were evil. It's where the laughing Batman Who Laughs came from and all kinds of stuff.
Right,
but
right.
yeah, Dream is like in the 4th issue of that. And at that point, I was like, all right, I guess I got to figure out who this is. But I've never read any of the comics or the books or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Sandman is totally canon to the DC universe, and character I think Death in particular tends to show up every once in a while.
That makes sense.
In DC stuff. But yeah, that is an extremely good run of comics from the 90s that actually holds up really well if you reread it. They, like Nando was saying, they're doing an Audible audiobook version of it, which is apparently very good. The fact that it's a comic makes me feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like you can remove the visual element.
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway, Nando has a discipline that I do not, because I would have jumped on you the second you said that, and I think all the listeners know that.
I also wanted to check, DJ, have you seen any Sandman-related news this week?
No, I haven't.
When I started seeing
So
people
funny.
on Twitter like mentioning this moment, I assumed that was why it came up.
Right, yeah,
like,
no.
DJ
the day
would be
after
like,
or something.
DJ would be like, they're doing a Flint Marko show, apparently? Like, that's weird. I thought that's what it would be. I didn't think it would just be you confidently asserting that the Neil Gaiman comic was about Flint Marko.
But yeah, 4 days ago, Netflix did some sort of like media day where they showed clips of all the shows that they will inevitably like trick us into thinking don't exist. But also that's not fair because we'll definitely get a lot of publicity for Extraction 2 #Rake lives, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We get to continue the adventure of Rake, the man who definitely has some sort of infection from that time he got shot a million times and fell into a river. And then just sat there for a while.
Don't forget,
but
he
Rake
also
is back.
has a dead son?
He does have a dead son.
And so,
A really cool dead son, probably.
It's an important
Very
trait of your
motivating.
hero to have a dead child to really latch onto.
But one of the things they released was a first look at the Sandman show that they're making with actual stars, although the only ones I recognized that appeared in this trailer was mostly Charles Dance, who plays some sort of old-timey guy who tries to summon death, which that part I did get to in the book. So I understand like this kind of setup scene we see.
it's literally the first thing that happens. So, I mean...
Yeah. But this,
I got
feel
bad
like...
news for you in regards to recognizing Charles Dance. He ain't going to be there for long.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. But, hey, man, at least that's somebody. That's somebody who you see it and you go, this ain't nothing. This is something with money.
He was in a nothing. He was in the bad
he's been
Godzilla movie.
He's been in so many nothings, but it's got money behind it. Like it's
okay.
I think for people that know Sandman and people that have been following the character for a while, at least from what I've heard, especially when this got announced, was like, this better be good because they keep saying they're going to do some Sandman thing, and if they fuck it up, that's a real bummer. So Netflix, it could be something that they throw money at, like The Witcher and apparently Extraction, or it could be something that like they buy and it does okay, and it kind of floats out of the public consciousness, and it seems like it's at least going to be expensive. But it has other stars too, but they're not in the trailer. At least I don't remember them being in the trailer.
That's Netflix's number one metric for will it be successful. Did we spend a lot of money on it? That's how we know.
Yeah. So did you watch? You should watch this little trailer, but also doesn't matter. I put it in the chat. It's like a minute long, and it's just Charles Dance saying a couple things, but it should just show you that it's not Thomas Hayden Church. Like if you had seen this, I think you would have been. It would have been clear to you that this is not that guy. So you just were a week too early. I'm talking about Spider-Man, way outside your depth.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sucks for me.
I gotta say, I kind of feel the same way about this as I do about the Netflix Cowboy Bebop show, which is like, what I'm seeing here is not convincing. Like, it could be good. What I'm seeing here doesn't look like a disaster necessarily, but like, I don't know, man. That original thing is so good that I don't even need this to be good because I still have the original thing. So, like, whatever. I hope it is good, but it can't penetrate my heart.
Yeah, I feel that's fair. And I feel like the Cowboy Bebop one, the images they've released are promising in terms of just like it looks pretty good, but it is like a what's the point? But this show will have in it, DJ, Game of Thrones and Captain Phasma's own Captain Phasma from she plays a character in it.
She plays Desire, right?
She plays Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you got Stephen Fry.
That's real good casting.
Stephen Fry is in this. You know him from V for Vendetta and stuff, among other things.
And others,
A bit of Fry and Laurie.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You got Kirby Howell-Baptiste.
From The Good Place.
Yeah, of The Good Place. The Australian girl who I was like, this is God, right? And then it's not. She plays Death. And then Patton Oswalt is playing a character named Matthew the Raven. He's just the voice of it.
Yes, because Matthew the Raven is in fact a raven.
Yeah, and speaking of Cowboy Bebop, Mason Alexander Park is the actor that plays Desire, who also plays a character named Gren in Cowboy Bebop. I don't know who that is. I've never seen Cowboy Bebop. I've been told it's cool, and I've seen bits and pieces of it. But I've never watched it.
A thing I have said to my friends who like anime to anger them, because this is how I demonstrate my friendship, is I intentionally anger my friends. Is that Cowboy Bebop is so good, I don't even consider it an anime.
Wow, you monster.
Nice.
You truly are a monster.
Yeah. So there's that. You know, there's a lot. It's going to be big. DJ, you'll probably watch it, I think.
Yeah, who's to say anymore, though? Because, you know, I am a known liar, so...
You'll tell us you watched it for sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But that did drop this week, so that was very funny. What else was I going to say? And Rake, like I said, Rake is back. What do you guys think Extraction 2 is going to be?
Guys, I was so worried that Rake was dead at the end of Extraction 1. I'm over the moon, you know?
Yep.
I had my vacation. I saw, like, probably the number one city on my list of places I wanted to see before I died. Went to one of my oldest friend's weddings. It was absolutely beautiful. All that. Number one thing of my week was...
Hashtag Rake lives.
Was that I saw that Rake was still alive, yeah.
He's back, baby.
So it wasn't a vision at the end. He was at the pool or whatever.
I guess. I mean, I watched the trailer, and the trailer's mostly clips from the last one, but...
Oh, good.
Rake will... But it does say, in no uncertain terms, hashtag Rake lives. So, a Rake will live. It could be a different Rake, but I don't think it is. I think it's the same
one of those
Rake we know and love.
One of those
The lawn
rakes that
rake.
Sideshow Bob steps on?
Yeah! If only we could be so lucky. Apparently Netflix also has some sort of League of Legends show or something. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh,
It's
good.
an animated League of Legends show, but I don't play League of Legends, so I don't know anything about it. Yeah, but there's that. So that's another thing they announced. But besides that, you know, they did a bunch of season 2s for shows that won't get season 3s, so that's entertaining as well. But they almost... Remember when James Bond No Time to Die was potentially going to be bought by one of these guys? One of these streaming guys?
Well, wasn't, like, MGM, which is the one who does these movies, they were bought by Amazon, right?
Well, yeah, but they don't own the rights to James Bond.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The rights to James Bond are owned by a very silly person. Not silly person, but a very silly named person. But it was going to be sold to Apple TV Plus, I believe, for like $400 million at one point during the pandemic. They didn't end up getting it, obviously. And I'm glad, because I don't think it really would have hit if it was just on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Diggins, do you know the name of the person who owns the rights to James Bond?
I do. Do you want me to say
DJ.
it?
I kind of want to make DJ guess, but there's no way he will.
Okay, here we go. DJ, no, I'm gonna give you a hint, a big hint, which is, so it's 2 words, you know, like most names, the first name and last name. The first name is something that you used in elementary school, and the second name is a vegetable.
Wait, I don't know who your first name is. Second name.
This can't be real.
Well, there's
The
his
second name,
actual name
vegetable.
and his nickname.
I'm
I was
thinking
going
of
with his nickname.
I'm thinking of the daughter, who I think is the person I've heard talking about it the most recently. But
Okay.
yes, there are
That's
other.
fair.
It's
Okay.
the blank family. DJ, you
Yeah.
pick a vegetable. You go crazy. What would be the silliest vegetable to be your last name if you had to guess?
The silliest vegetable would be my last name. Probably, like, radish, I think, would be the silliest last name.
That would be a pretty silly last name.
Right?
silly.
Like, radish is the... Is there a sillier one? I mean, like, Brussels sprouts 2 words, so it can't be that.
Yeah.
Cucumber would be a hilarious last name. I'm
Now that you're
changing my
saying-
vote to cucumber.
Yeah, now that you're saying it, all of these would be very funny. There
Like-
are very few vegetables that would not be funny in last
Like,
names.
pickles, hilarious. Tommy Pickles.
Yeah, that worked for him.
That's right. Tommy Pickles is the owner of the James Bond franchise. How did you know?
Yeah.
I used my Tommy gun in elementary school, so yeah, this makes sense. I have no idea. I've never heard of, like, this vegetable family.
I've heard them talked about a little bit this week because there've been a couple of reports that have been like the blank family or blank has been, you know, talking about plans for the next James Bond, when they're going to start looking for the next one.
Pepper, jalapeno. That'd be a good one. Jalapeno
Nah,
would be
Diggins, you could tell them what it is. Pretty
All right.
fun.
So the original producer of the James Bond movies, who owned the rights, was a man who went by his nickname, and this is the name I was trying to give you, which is Cubby Broccoli.
Oh, man. Okay.
Cubby Broccoli has unfortunately passed away, and so his daughter is kind of like the main head of the family in these matters, and her name is alliterative Barbara Broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Broccolis.
The Broccoli family. They're the James Bond people.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's interesting because there's MGM, right? And then there's Aeon Studios.
Right.
EON. And they're like the guys. But then there's the Broccoli people are like the actual people who own the rights to this character. Or the movies, I guess.
The Broccoli people.
I don't know exactly what they
those-
Yeah, exactly.
The mutant vegetable men who own James Bond.
Yeah, like in Next Wave. You ever read Next Wave? It's like a comic where there's a bunch of the henchmen for this guy turn out to all be men, but they're all made of broccoli, and they're broccoli men. So that.
I've never heard of this.
It's a fun book.
I know
like
what
I'm
you're
so
saying.
out of my
A terrible
depth.
person, so it doesn't count anymore. But the idea of broccoli men is fun.
Yeah.
But DJ, now that you know about the broccolis, does that explain
Yes.
why this movie's so bad? Does that explain it in your head?
Because broccoli stinks and this
Maybe.
movie stinks. Is that?
Yeah, they're using this movie to take vengeance on anyone that ever made fun of them in like childhood.
Oh, that makes
maybe.
sense. It makes
know.
so much sense.
But yeah, this movie, wow. James Bond, Spectre. It's just called Spectre, which is awful. It's like there was a contest in the office after, like, they were like, Quantum of Solace is a pretty bad name, and someone was like, we can go lower. We can get worse. Yeah.
Skyfall, pff, get out of here.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's a question. DJ
Yes.
Diggins, you probably know this. Do you know the deal with Spectre legally
Oh,
as
God, no.
as like a thing in the real world?
Gosh,
Not ghosts.
I used to know this. I don't know the details anymore.
So
Good
apparently,
things that I can both guess. Oh, never mind.
I mean, it's not going to be a good guess, but I do want to say this because I think this is important. So, do you guys remember Quantum of Solace, right? The one about how the Bolivian dictator wants to hike up the price of water. What a fantasy movie! Yeah. In the end of that, or not even the end, like in the middle of that, we learn that there is a mysterious organization called Quantum that is secretly pulling all of the strings, and it's like they are the architects of all of James Bond's pain and stuff. And you're like, okay, whatever you say, and then they don't really do anything exciting, and a hotel blows up. Well, I believe that for some reason MGM did not have the rights to use Spectre, the organization, so they made Quantum a Spectre stand-in. So then they had those rights back for this. So then they just like made Quantum a sub, like, or in the org chart of evil organizations. Quantum is slightly below Spectre, but
Yeah,
they're like a subsidiary of Spectre.
You know that 30 Rock joke about how NBC is technically owned by the Scheinhart Wig Company? It's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty funny when you look back at the 5 movies of James Bond, like of Daniel Craig, counting the one that it comes out in a week, but maybe even just these 4, where 2 of them have been about James Bond uncovering the secret organization behind everything. And by the 4th one, they were like, I'm pretty sure people forgot that there was already one of these, so let's do it again.
And they were
totally
right.
did.
I did.
Yeah.
That tracks. Because when did Quantum of Solace come out?
2009, maybe?
Yeah, and this was
Well,
2015, so 6-year gap. Yeah.
The thing with that is not that it was the length of time. It was the fact that Quantum of Solace was so heinously boring that I don't remember anything from that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Little did you know that Spectre would outdo it, Diggins.
Yeah.
Little did you know.
You know, does it? We'll
don't
talk
know.
about it.
I don't know. I'd have to. I haven't seen Quantum of Solace to, like, probably since I saw it in theaters to measure it against.
DJ, real quick, prove that you've seen Quantum of Solace by telling me something about it that only something that's seen Quantum of Solace could know. I just want to make sure for the fans out there.
In it, there is a car that has guns that come out of the headlights.
Pretty sure that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true of the new one.
Hey guys,
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Quantum of Solace.
I feel like as much as I want to belittle DJ for this, I think there's a strong chance DJ did see Quantum of Solace and forgot everything about it.
I really never did. No, I never did. I'm caught in another horrible lie.
Oh my god.
We
got him.
DJ, you honestly, again, could have said that you saw it, but remembered absolutely zero things about it, and I would have said, like, that makes sense. You could have seen it yesterday and remembered zero things about it, and I would have believed it.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace is really boring.
And
maybe I did see it in a theater. I don't know. I probably didn't. Look, I think what's important here is that I'm a liar. And I think if you guys know I'm a liar, it gives us a more honest relationship.
I mean, I think this is becoming
not trust anything I say.
I think this is a new segment on the podcast where
God.
At one point in every episode, DJ bluffs knowing something. And if we call him out on it, we win. And he only gets to call him out maybe like once per episode or something. So you gotta.
At the end, if you don't, I'll be like, guys, I lied about this thing.
Yeah.
Here's the fun thing, Nando. I've done that multiple times over the course of this podcast.
I mean, like, I'm sure I have with things that I'm like, I'm sure what I do more than that, is say I've read something, and that means I've read the first, 10 pages of it, and then read the Wikipedia page, or to get the information, but I didn't actually read it.
I mean, there's a difference between that and then boldly declaring that you know the content of something so well because you love the source material so much, and you're so sad about how it got ruined, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Things. So, yeah.
Well, for DJ's memory, jogging the memory that doesn't exist, Quantum of Solace, it's about like a Bolivian. It seems like it's about oil, but it's about water and a guy who wants to overcharge for water. And it's got what's the actress's name? Do you remember, Diggins? The one who's like his counterpart, and she just wants revenge on the dictator that killed her family.
Oh, the Bond girl in that movie?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And then it's also got a character that is Strawberry Fields for about 10 minutes, and then she dies. And that's it. It's pretty bad. And a hotel explodes. The end is just an exploding hotel for like 20 minutes.
The character is named Camila Montes. The actor was Olga Kurilenko.
What? The Taskmaster herself.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh my god. Just forgettable assassins in all the movies. She's been in every movie. We just forgot about her. Yeah, that movie's not very good. But this movie is also not very good because, as Diggins has said on the podcast before, there's a 2 James Bond, like every other James Bond movie is good, and then it's followed by a bad one.
It's the Daniel Craig pattern. This isn't a general James Bond pattern, but it's the Daniel Craig one, which is Daniel Craig makes like an all-timer, one of the best Bond movies ever made, and then makes like one of the most boring things I've ever seen. Just those 2 movies over and over again.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the one before this was Skyfall, right?
That's right.
Yep.
A movie I definitely saw, even though I can't remember who the villain was.
Because we saw it at a midnight
I was
screening,
gonna
the
say,
3 of
yeah,
us
I think
together.
we were all there.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. So you guys can verify that I, definitely saw it.
It's got what's his name? It's got the big tall guy who has that,
Javier Bardem.
And he touches James Bond's crotch, and James Bond's like, I do this all the time, kind of wink. And it's like, ooh, all right. But yeah. That one's all about what is he trying to get in that one? Like code or something, or like cell phones. He's got a whole room of computers.
I mean, in the end, all he really wants to do is kill M.
Yeah, but what's his terrorism goal? What's he doing on that island? I can't even remember.
It's been forever since I saw Skyfall, but that one's a good movie.
Yeah, it's better than this. I think I still, out of all 4 of them, I'll say 5. I think Casino Royale's my favorite, but just because it's just so damn good. It's just, I could watch that movie every day.
Every day.
And I do.
Sentence.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
Every day I wake up for a little bit of Casino Royale.
It'll be like when DJ was imprisoned by the MyPillow guy and had to watch Free Guy over and over again.
Oh, yeah. That canonically definitely happened.
Yeah, that thing.
But we should tell the MyPillow guy to start listening to the show and then imprison DJ every week and make him watch or read the thing that he actually didn't watch or read.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Quantum of Solace is the next one.
Yep. Followed by reading the Sandman comic by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. But let's talk about Spectre. Who is in charge of the IMDb game this week? I know we did it the last couple of days, but I don't think those count. I want to talk,
I believe it's me, because I won the last time we were all together.
If we're going by the Shang-Chi episode, then I ran it in DJ1. So,
all right, so let me pull it up. I haven't looked at this because I wasn't sure. This is gonna be fun. All right. What's the name of this segment, guys?
It's the spelling bee, or excuse me, it's the IMDb B spelled like spelling bee.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, the best segment. And we are going to guess the IMDb summary for a movie called Spectre.
So I won't give a ton of information. I will say, it's for these, it's on like the longer side. So feel free to like work with it.
Oh, I was going to do a short one.
No, don't do that. Don't do a short one. Nando, I believe you have the honors of going first.
I want to go. I want to go second, just because.
All right, yeah.
I have an idea of it, but I want to really like think it through.
Okay, so Diggins, you must go first.
Okay. Cut off from support due to a upcoming merger of British intelligence agencies. James Bond must track down the mysterious secret organization that has been behind all of the plots he has foiled. But as he digs deeper into the conspiracy, he finds specters of his past coming back to haunt him.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Nice. All right, Nando.
Okay. Oh, man. I'm going to say... my problem with this movie is, like, even though I just watched it, I guess... Okay. So I guess the beginning has to be, like, Okay. James Bond is forced to go rogue after okay. James Bond is forced to go rogue and uncover a web of secrets that reveal information about James Bond's information about his past and a global conspiracy led by the mysterious Spectre.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Okay, we have to play the phrase game again. I think I know who I want to give it to, but there's a phrase in here that, I'm not saying golden ball, you'll definitely win, but I want to see if you guys can get it and see if this changes anything.
Okay.
So, Diggins, you go first.
International Man of Mystery.
No.
Oh, I love that. Following the events of Skyfall.
No.
Ah, man.
Daniel Craig.
No.
Oh, okay, I got one. A ring bearing a mysterious insignia.
That's a good one, but no. All right, last one, Diggins.
Well, I went first, so Nando and I both get one more?
Yeah.
Okay. I can do this. The daughter of an old nemesis.
No.
Oh,
all right, Nando.
Yeah. I'm going to say... God, how do you phrase this? The future of global surveillance.
Nope.
Ooh,
all right.
Guys,
good. How could you not forget that the villain of this movie is the author of all your pain?
Is that word in there?
That phrase, the author of all his pain, is in here.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, so I'm gonna give it to Diggins.
Okay.
I think he got like more of like the intent of what it was. So I'll read it. A cryptic message from James Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover the existence of a sinister organization named Spectre. With a new threat dawning, Bond learns the terrible truth about the author of all his pain in his most recent missions. Yeah, so
I
on
agree.
the longer side, and I
win.
think Diggins got more of just like the meat. It was kind of all over the place, but sorry, Nando. The only thing you had was like uncover. You did get that, but not
I didn't have
much
like
else.
Sinister Organization or something like that.
You didn't say organization. You said sinister something, but I don't think. Oh, you didn't call Spectre an organization. It was like Sinister Group or something.
I probably called it something even cooler. Sinister
Listeners, go back.
metaphor.
If I'm wrong and Nando should have won, then we'll appeal it to the Supreme Court, and then they'll decide very fairly who won.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to the Cyber Ninjas and see. We'll figure it out in a couple of months.
So yeah, Diggins, I'm giving you the W with this awful IMDb summary. I can't believe Author of All His Pain is in here. I mean, what if they used a trailer clip?
I don't know what I would describe it as, honestly.
I honestly did have a real beam me up Scotty moment when I watched this movie, and I realized I've been saying the line wrong this whole time.
Yeah, it's author, not architect, but architect makes more sense.
Yeah, that's
the author of someone's pain. Come on.
I think architect is just a fun, like more fun, phrase. Architect, like to say in Chrisoph Waltz voice.
Yeah, I'm the architect of all your pain.
Yeah. Does he say architect in something else, like Glorious Bastards or something? Is that like a classic Chrisoph Waltz phrase that we just meshed together?
Did he say, I'm the architect of this? I told him I'm the architect of this plan. Like when they go to kill Hitler.
He says it in the Green Hornet movie. He says that he used to be an architect.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Dodge Titans, you're an architect. Because he is, kind of. Not really. He's like a businessman or whatever. I don't know.
He's a failed real estate investor. Or
yeah,
something.
That's what it is.
Dodge Titans.
Dodge Titans, you're a failed real estate investor or something.
Listen, Dodge, you gotta eat your breakfast. You need your energy.
Oh my God. That might be the weirdest Chrisoph Waltz impression.
We've done some bad Chrisoph Waltz impressions on this show, but damn.
Yeah,
that is some Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like,
listen, James,
Dad, you gotta eat your breakfast.
You gotta be strong. You gotta eat your breakfast, Dodge Tines. Mm-hmm. Listen, I would give you the money, but I can't. If you play a game, maybe I could help you.
Yeah, now go storm the castle, Dodge Tines. Have fun storming the castle. Anyway, Diggins, what you think of this movie?
You know what? I gotta say, when I was rewatching this movie, it opened up with that Day of the Dead sequence where it does the long, single, it's definitely not actually a single take, but made to look like a single take of him walking through the crowd, going up to the hotel room with the lady, and then walking across the roof. That whole sequence is going on right up to him sniping the people that he's been tailing, and then the hotel building they're in blows up. It's this all super cool, super stylish sequence, and I'm like, is this movie better than I remember it? This is pretty good. And then that scene keeps going and going and going, and it has this helicopter fight that just visually makes no sense. And then I remember, oh yeah, no, this movie's not that good. Honestly, I think I did like it a little more than I remembered liking it. There's some decent stuff in there. The cast is stacked, which, a lot of that has to do with the older movies, because most of them are returning. But, I don't know, I like Alea Sado. I like Chrisoph Waltz. I won't say that either of them are particularly well utilized in this movie, but I think they're doing their best. But I think the main problem is it's just not very interesting. Spectre as an organization never seems like it's more than a bunch of people who meet in a boardroom every once in a while. I don't really get the sense that they're really out there doing some big evil that makes me care about James Bond stopping them.
But they showed you the org chart. All the big evil from the last one was this.
Yeah, but they gotta be doing new big evil, because that big evil's already over. If they're not doing new big evil, why do I care? But the most big evil thing they're doing is just the government surveillance that's happening, whether or not they're involved. I don't think stopping Chrisoph Waltz in this movie stops government spying on people.
I mean, maybe if the building it explodes, then they can't do it anymore. But yeah, besides that, not much. Not much is gonna change.
But yeah, it's just there's it doesn't really feel like there's ever a threat. It's the whole tie-in with his past is so half-baked and just doesn't work because they don't talk about it ever until the very end. The same thing with Chrisoph Waltz as being Blofeld, a classic Bond villain. The fun thing about Bond villains is having them interact with Bond and, having the early interactions where they're pretending that they're not gonna try and kill each other later, and then the gloating and the interrogations and whatever. And we get a little bit of that, but just very quickly at the end in such a way that's just, it doesn't give it time to breathe. It doesn't give it, we don't spend enough time with Chrisoph Waltz for him to really kind of seem like a threatening presence. We don't spend enough time with Lea Seydoux and James and Daniel Craig for them to like have any real chemistry or care about them as a pair, which is very important to the movie because she doesn't show up till halfway through the movie because we spend so much of this movie on some bullshit that doesn't matter. And it's really weirdly paced movie that kind of just assumes you're going to care about stuff because of the past movies and doesn't do enough work to make you care about what's happening right now. That just ultimately makes it pretty boring. I think there's some good sequences in there. I like some of the actors, but overall it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a pretty good summation, Diggins. Nando, you say you agree?
I do. I agree. I think it's a bad movie, but I disagree with Diggins. I don't remember if you said this or not, but I do like how James Bond fucks an octopus in the beginning. That part's pretty fun. All that stuff, top tier James Bond.
You know what?
Octopus sex.
I don't love this. Was it Sam Smith?
Oh yeah.
I don't love the Sam Smith song, but I do love James Bond fucking the octopus. You got me there.
It's the audacity of the opening for this movie to just really go all in on the octopus is so funny. Because they're not in it. Like, octopus is the picture, but it does just seem to be the picture because it is an org chart to explain why James Bond villains are all part of the same thing. And, like, there are so many octopuses in this scene where James Bond is just, like, in the most boring looks ever getting, had sex with by pretty women in shadow. And it's just like that plus an octopus tentacle. Wouldn't that be interesting? It's so funny.
I mean, yeah. Octopussy is a James Bond movie, right? So,
it is.
Had to go somewhere.
Now,
incorrect.
Yeah,
Wait, is that no?
Oh wait, no,
Lying.
it is. Sorry,
No, it is.
Was,
It totally
yeah.
is.
Sorry,
I was going to ask.
Diggins is the
Sorry.
liar.
I was thinking of Pussy Galore, who is a Bond villain / Bond girl, but is not a movie. Sorry.
Now,
it is bananas. Octopussy is an actual name of a movie. Like, that is crazy. That's like a real name of a James Bond movie.
Right, I mean, if you could pick, I feel like if I heard a James Bond movie, like if they announced the next one of these and they're like, we're calling it, I don't know,
Rhino dick, rhino penis.
Yeah, if they're like, we're calling it Rhino Penis, I'd be like, this is gonna fucking rule. They are going somewhere with this. Like, if they say that or Quantum of Solace, I'll watch Rhino Dick every time. No interest in boring fucking. And I feel like my question I was going to ask the Octopussy is it Octopussy because of the Spectre octopus? Like,
God,
or
is it
is
that
it
deep?
just a coincidence?
Is it that deep?
It's called that because the villain of the character is a character named Octopussy. That's it.
Okay, cool. And he's not like that character is not like the old god that is an octopus that Spectre worships or something, like the snake god from the G.I. Joe movie.
Or is there ever an actual Hydra in?
Oh yeah. Well,
okay, so yeah.
I mean, this is why you gotta watch What If, but also they constantly try to summon stuff that's kind of a Hydra. It's their favorite.
Okay.
They did it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it was Hive, and it's like, that's not really a Hydra. It's honestly more of an octopus. They like Hydra should be Octopussy or Spectre or whatever.
Yeah, it kind of has the tentacles. Actually, those logos are kind of similar.
Same shit, yeah. And they're really, and the Hydra logo more than the Spectre logo is all the octopus tentacles plus the skull. And there's lots of skulls in this intro too, because they know that the Day of the Dead thingy is cool, and that's a cool image. They're trying to capitalize on Coco, I guess, or something. Really, they knew that was coming down the pipeline. They were like, let's hitch our wagon to that star.
It was only a year away. I think it's 2016. I think it came out. So yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie stinks. I mean, it makes the biggest mistake in any Spider-Man movie, which is making the movie about the secret conspiracy to why he's Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man, James Bond, Han Solo. There's a couple of them where it's like they're just supposed to be normal guys, and the more their origin is some sort of thing where everything's always been connected and they're the chosen one. It's always bullshit. And it's stupid, and I hated it in this immediately. Like, I think that was where it was like, because I forget when in this movie, or if it was in the trailer. I haven't seen the trailer for this in a while. if it was clear pretty much that Blofeld was like related to him in some way. Like
So
in the
they-
marketing.
I don't know about the marketing. In the movie itself, they like kind of very obliquely hint about it at the very start, and then they never talk about it again until the last 30 minutes. It's
Well, there's a bit where he's
bananas.
like he's in the evil meeting and he's saying like the cuckoo thing to him, and it's like, okay, they know each other or something. But so I guess by that point I'd be like, this is bullshit. Something's up. Like this movie is bad for that reason.
I think they play that way too close to the chest though, because it's like you're watching the movie and you get that sense of like, oh, they know each other, and he even says like to Moneypenny, he's like, look up Franz Oberhauser, so like, oh, he knows who that is, but then nobody talks about who Franz Oberhauser is or why Bond knows him, and we don't get any sense of like what their relationship is until the very end, and it's just like I have no investment in him finding this person because nobody will tell me why he should care.
Yeah, I feel like there were a couple.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say there were a couple things in the marketing in this movie that were immediately put me off. I think I don't remember exactly how this was sold, but the Chrisoph Waltz as mysterious villain man, like I feel like going into this, a lot of us were like, they better not have a scene where he says, "It is me, Ernst Stafford Blofeld." Because that will be dumb. And then they did that. And I think maybe because it was so clear that was coming, it was also kind of clear that they were secret brothers or something like that. Like, that was the only way. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to watch the trailer again real quick just to see if there's, like, what lines they use. Because I do feel like going into this movie the first time I saw it, I had a feeling that was where it was going to end up.
I do remember them being very coy about Christoph Waltz being Blofeld in a way that was like, it felt pointless because every single person who saw any of the marketing for the movie was like, oh, he's playing Blofeld. That's cool.
Yeah. But I also think this movie is bad. But besides the fact that it is pretty boring when it's boring, James Bond in it is very bad. Like he feels like by this point in the 4 Daniel Craig movies, he should have learned something by now about how to treat women, or I don't know. Like
James Bond will never learn how to treat women, Nando. If he learned that, he wouldn't be James Bond anymore.
I guess that's fair.
true.
It's a little funny to me how like this James Bond in Casino Royale, because there's like the formula for these. I'm not sure how far this travels into the old James Bond movies. Is there's one James Bond, female character who's kind of important to the plot and does a lot of cool fighting, and then there's another one who's just there to have sex with, and then she has information or something. And the Daniel Craig ones at least mostly follow that pattern.
That's pretty standard, honestly.
Yeah. So like in the first one in Casino Royale, it's obviously the main girl is
sometimes that first one is also evil.
That's true. Like in not GoldenEye, the one with all the ice, where it's Rosamund Pike, and she's like an evil something. I forget. But
The World Is Not Enough.
Is that The World Is Not Enough, or is that Die Another Day?
Die Another Day. That is Die Another Day. You're right.
Yeah.
GoldenEye does
That's
have
the Halle.
that's the Halle Berry one. GoldenEye does have an incredible female Bond villain, though.
Is it
Xenia
Denise
Onatopp.
Richards?
No, she's played by Famke Janssen.
Oh yeah, you're right. Of course. Is Denise Richards in the other one then?
Maybe she's like the regular Bond girl in that movie? I don't know.
She's in The World Is Not Enough.
Okay, no. I'm talking
anyway.
about GoldenEye. I'm talking about GoldenEye.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I remember Famke Janssen. Yeah, she's cool. But anyway, what I was going at with this, like in the first one, so if we're just looking at the girl he has sex with for information in each of these movies, Casino Royale, it is the wife of the guy who he ends up stealing the Aston Martin from, and she is a hot lady who rides a horse on the beach, and the little kids follow her, and she seems to be married, and that's kind of like, whoa, James Bond is a married man's wife. But totally into it, cool. Second one, I guess it's supposed to be Moneypenny, or not Moneypenny, excuse me, Strawberry Fields. I feel like there is like a little bit of like, ooh, maybe he's going to kiss the other one, like the Olga Kurylenko, and I think they might kiss, but I don't remember. Skyfall, the woman he has sex with is the sex slave, which is pretty screwy.
Up.
And then in this one, it's the widow. The funeral bride. Like, it's so weird how he just gets worse and worse and worse. Like, you'd figure by the fifth one, he's gonna have sex with, like, I don't know, someone he captures or something.
Now,
I can't even imagine.
I would argue that Widow of the Man You Killed is, well, bad. It's not worse than Sex Slave.
Oh, it's not. It's definitely not worse than Sex Slave, but it is like, it's almost like James Bond is trying to find new ways to be creepy in these situations. Because you know what? I guess with Strawberry Fields, I want to say in that movie she like works for him or something. So it's like, oh, maybe not James Bond. And that's why Moneypenny is fun in these. Although I don't think she gets enough to do here. But I also think the thing that I forget about every time, like the thing that surprises me every time I see this, is how fucking stupid all the Moriarty stuff is. Everything in London with the spying is just
priest?
Yeah, the hot priest. He's got so many classic roles. Oh man, I remember. So I don't even know if Fleabag was like, he was in Fleabag yet, but I had seen he was hot coming off of Sherlock when that was the talk of the town, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna be a cool James Bond villain. And little did I know, the movie isn't even sure what he really is. Like, he's just kind of there to argue with Voldemort every so often. And it's fucking, it's brutal. What else did I say? I like the jacket he wears at one point. James Bond.
You're a huge fan of that jacket.
Yeah, I think James Bond fashion in this movie pretty good. Although I do think it is maybe the weakest out of all the Daniel Craig James Bond fashions. What else was I going to say? I had something else that I hate about this movie. I think. Okay. So I think the problem with this movie can be summed up in that Ernst Stavro Blofeld thing. Because yeah, on paper, nothing wrong with Chrisoph Waltz as Blofeld. He's a good actor, and the idea of...
And people talk constantly when he first burst onto the scene. The man was born to play a Bond villain.
Yes, absolutely. And he's, I think, fine in this, although I do think he has some of the dumbest things to do in this movie. And I think he has some of the dumbest lines that, like the cuckoo thing, they were even too silly for him to say to make me take them seriously.
I understand you feeling that way. I would say, like, yeah, the cuckoo thing, I feel like in the hands of a lesser actor, I would have burst out laughing at that. But instead I was like, that's weird. You know?
Yeah,
like,
fair.
He gives it just the right amount of gravity where I'm not like totally taken out of the moment. It just seems weird.
Yeah. But what I was getting at is, I think the bit where there's that bit where we're at the weird compound. Where is the thing that explodes?
Is that in...
It's
in Morocco? No.
Where is Tangier? Is that
where?
I
Yeah,
don't
might
think
be
it's
right.
Tangier's the earlier scene. I don't think the...
Well, they take a train from Tangier out into the desert, so it's part of the same country.
Sure.
Tangier's in Morocco, so yeah, that's probably in Morocco.
Okay, yeah. So that bit where he's in Morocco and he's talking, and there's a bit where he reveals himself to be Blofeld, and he says it like just like the scene of fucking Star Trek where Benedict Cumberbatch is like, I am Khan. And it's like, okay, movie, you think this is cool because you recognize this name, but like this movie is trading on all of the goodwill from the Daniel Craig James Bonds and also some other James Bond things that people in the audience may know about. And it's just like, there's nothing, it has no feet to stand on. So much so that at the end of this movie, he just prints out pictures of characters from the better movies.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane how much all of the other James Bond movies, like Skyfall, Casino Royale, maybe the next one, who knows, can kind of stand on their own just as like fun movies. But like, it's not even just that there's destiny that's in play, but it also like, it's so like... Yeah, we aren't going to make a good script for this movie, but we will keep reminding people of all the other movies they liked, so maybe that'll make them like this one. And it's just fucking, it's so desperate. I can't stand it. I think Daniel Craig is fine. I agree. I think Léa Seydoux could be fine. Maybe in the future could be. But in this one, she just has nothing to do. And also, she falls in love with James Bond over the course of like a couple hours. And
after saying she won't, she's very explicit about how she wouldn't. Very much undercuts her point. Found that very disappointing.
And it's kind of weird because this movie also kind of does Vesper again a little bit with her, where it's like, James Bond, he's met his match, and she's like, I'll never fall for your advances, James. And it's just like, maybe do something different. Maybe make her just a woman that he works with that is a sequel. that he doesn't kiss. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of what Moneypenny is. Not Money. Yeah, Moneypenny. But she's not like a shooty person, so it's not quite the same thing. But yeah, I mean, this movie stinks. There's so many things that happen in this movie where they're showing me a picture of characters from older movies, and I'm like, who is that? Wait, which one was Mr. White? Or like, not Mr. White. Is that his name? No.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
That's who it is? Yeah, I'm like, didn't he die in one of these? And it's like, kind of, but also, who cares? And it's just like, man, yeah, this movie stinks.
The other problem is you can't do. So I agree with Nando. I think this movie stinks. I don't have anything else to add on that front. I think also to put like a finer point on that, Nando, is like you can't do an MCU style. Oh, we're gonna have all the cool things and. Oh, look, it's this guy. Whoa. When you release movies like every 3 to 5 years. Like, I think that's like a really limited factor. Like what? Daniel Craig had 6 in, when was Casino Royale?
2006.
2006. So 15 years, 6 movies. It's not terrible, but no, like
5.
Yeah, this new one's the 5th Daniel Craig movie.
Oh, sorry. So 15. Yeah, so 15 years, 5 movies. That's not like a great to like keep me fresh. I gotta like watch it every time right before. I don't know.
It would be cool if they decided on this before they filmed any of the movies. Like, I think this could have been cool if it was like, if it made any sense or any of the groundwork was laid besides there already being villains that, you know, maybe could have been working with someone who knows. Like, if he was finding these Spectre rings all over the place and like, you know, I don't know, something. Or like at random points in movies, like villains would blow up and James Bond was like, who killed that guy? And then we find out it was this. Like, that'd be cool. But it really is just you look at a little computer where all the octopus legs go up to the big guy. And it's like, you didn't. The MCU would be so crazy if, like, what this would be in the MCU is like if Thanos showed up with the Infinity Gauntlet and just pictures of all the things that the other Infinity Gems were, and we were like, oh, I guess that is what they were. And it's, this is one of the worst, like, I'm going to say world building, because it's not world building in terms of, like, the orcs and the elves were friends and now they're not, but it is, like, world building in terms of, like, continuity and canon between your movies, and one of the worst ones of those I've ever seen in this movie specifically.
I think, too, Nando, it's because what almost makes that worse is this movie tries to give little expository lines to like maybe help you along, but it's like no good. Like Q has that one after Bond gives him the ring, or like whenever they meet in the ski resort, where he's like, so and so died 20 years ago in an avalanche. You know that, and then it's like, was I supposed to know that guy? So it really hurts it.
There was a part of me that was like, did they mention Franz Oberhauer in the other movies? Am I supposed to remember him? I don't think so. I think that all that information is new to this movie. But yeah, they just keep acting like I should know this, and not explaining what it is in a way that made me feel like I was missing something.
It's insane. Like, and I don't know how James Bond, like Daniel Craig's James Bond contract worked. If it was clear that he was going to do 5, I know they've renegotiated it a couple of times and he said like 4 is my last one. Then he kind of changed his tune a little bit, but that was maybe when he was doing 3. But I feel like you could have made this and the last one, the one that comes out in a week, as like one cohesive story where they do lead the groundwork for what Spectre is and stuff. But it really is just grand opening, grand closing in about 20 minutes of, like, Spectre. Also, yeah, it's besides the fact that Spectre doesn't really do anything evil in this movie, they're also nothing. Like, it's just a bunch of guys and Dave Bautista. Yeah. And if they don't like you, they'll make Dave Bautista claw your eyes out, maybe. But they're not, like, there isn't, like, the moment where, like they have this moment in Quantum where someone within MI6 turns out to have always been like a member of Quantum, I guess, which, a subsidiary of Spectre. And like, I feel like they needed a little bit more of that. Like, what's the name of that guy who's always with M? You know what I'm talking about?
Bill Tanner.
Yeah. If like maybe, and I like that he's in this just as like kind of a middle management type for these or whatever, like a good handler for James. But if he turned out to be from Spectre and he'd be like, oh my God, incredible. Or if Ralph Fiennes turned out to be from Spectre, Because in the first movie that he was in, it was always very like, what's his deal? What is he really after? Is he a bad guy trying to take over for M? And then it was like, no, he's just like kind of a different guy who, now that M and James Bond are on good terms, we're going to introduce him so he can have all the same arguments him and M had before. But, like, there's no intention, like, there's no indication that Spectre's any good at this. Especially because they fucking lose a ring, and then it's like, just plug this into the computer. Oh, get out. They're all the bad guys. You just walk right into their little meeting, and then leave. They just let you go. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, he does get to have a little chase through Rome where he makes an old man drive fast.
Yeah.
And the guy yells back, "Esamache!" You know,
and also that chase kind of stinks. Like, there's a lot of bits in this movie that I'm like, if I had to rank, if you gave me like a pen and paper, and having seen all 5 of these, we're like, write down all the action sequences from any of these, and it'd be like, okay, Casino Royale, that time he runs up the crane, and then Casino Royale, he flips over the Aston Martin, he fights those guys in the hallway, and Quantum of Solace, the hotel explodes, probably some other stuff. And then Skyfall. And then with this, I'd be like, I'm pretty sure something happened. Like, something exploded at one point. But it's all so, like, disposable in a way that's kind of weird for a James Bond movie. Who directed this one? Was this also Sam Mendes, or was this...
Yes, this was Sam Mendes also.
Oh, what a bummer. Because, like, you know, obviously, Skyfall had such memorable action sequences. It was so good at that. And this just... doesn't have those.
You have to wonder, like, where did it come down? You know, was it like MGM or whoever is saying, yeah, we want like a really interconnected, James Bond, one enemy the whole time, and it was this guy, and
somebody
like
needs
why,
to be the author of his pain.
Yeah.
Why are they jonesing for that though? Because
I think there has been a shift in the last, 20 years towards like canonical, this movie leads into that movie leads into that movie, and like that's part of Marvel's success. It's just like you got to watch all the movies, even if you don't want to see what Ant-Man's up to, you won't understand the next one, so go watch our Ant-Man movie. So like that, I think they probably saw that. And I think Batman Begins, or like the Nolan Batman movies, which is one thing that I feel like the Craig Bond movies were always kind of a foot or two behind. They almost did that with Bane in that movie, where he's like, I'm also from the League of Shadows, and Talia al Ghul is it. And so, like, I think they saw some of those things work in those movies, and I'm like, I guess we can probably do that. And you know what? We already have a villain everybody knows, and we'll get an actor everybody likes, and they liked the last one of these, so they probably remember it. So I can see why that made sense at the time.
Yeah, and again, I think there's part of it where, have some self-awareness, where even, like, all the Nolan Batman movies came out in a stretch of, like, 6 years. So at least it was like pretty close, like 6 or 7 years, or whatever. But like again, and I don't mean to harp on like how spread out these are, but it's more that like it's just so haphazard. Like that's more of the problem, right? And how we're talking about all the problems. Also, as a concept for a movie on its own, this movie is just the like evil parts of like Winter Soldier. It's just this movie, and the whole time I'm like, wow, this movie is Winter Soldier, a movie that came out like a year before, I think. So.
That's true.
At the time, had I saw Spectre, I must have been like, oh, wow. Really, really cut and paste a lot of the... even the themes of, like, we're only safe if we're on the Diggins. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
This is all we have in the mid-aughts, is it? Or the mid-teens. We just have...
and you're my, like, childhood adopted friend turned enemy of the evil organization now. Yeah.
Fuck, it is Winter Soldier.
And,
oh, my
like,
God.
Yeah, if you map Ray Fiennes to Nick Fury, and then... Alexander Pierce and whatever the fuck his name is. I don't even know. I should look up what his name is in this, but Little Moriarty, like, they have the same kind of conflict. Yeah.
And the whole theme of, like, mass surveillance and trained assassins are bad if the bad people have it, but they're good if the good people have them.
Yeah. That's true.
That's the lesson. Shit, yeah.
Yeah. And that scene where Captain America has sex with an octopus. It's just like a Captain America. I for people that haven't seen Spectre in a while or ever, because I do think by the end of Spectre, there's enough bullshit to make you maybe forget about the opening credits. But the opening credits are horrible. And not just in a sense, like having sex with an octopus is horrible. Also, they are artistically bankrupt. Like, it looks like they copied and pasted Daniel Craig's face onto, like, a picture of a hunky guy and, like, because he's not moving for a lot of it. It's just like super weird. And I'd say watch it on YouTube if you can. Like find the Spectre opening and just like to get a sense for what we're talking about, because it does. I know we're saying like he has sex with an octopus, and you're like, okay, what does that mean? It's like he has sex, and an octopus is part of it. Like, it's not clear what's going in where, but the octopus is there for the sex, and it is intertwined in all of his parts.
Yeah, the octopus is not a passive observer.
Yeah, you think it is, and then as the song goes on, more octopus tentacles grab more of James Bond's limbs. Like, the octopus, it's almost like if the scene lasted a little longer, the octopus tentacle would like show up behind James Bond's head and just force it down. The octopus's lap. Because it is like grabbing his arms and legs. Anyway, the movie's bad. Yeah, I also don't love the Sam Smith song. I think it's a little too low energy for a James Bond song. And it doesn't say, I think I'll give them a little bit more credit if the song just has the title of the movie repeated a bazillion times. Like,
you mean like Skyfall?
Skyfall, Live and Let Die, Die Another Day. Like, that's why I think Die Another Day is terrible, but I love it for that movie because it's just Madonna saying Die Another Day 100 times. Yeah. So yeah, this movie stinks. Let's see. Where do we start with this one? I don't know. What's the worst thing about it? Were there any scenes? Let's say nice things. What do we like about this movie?
Ooh, wow.
There's one good joke. Do you guys remember the good joke?
Absolutely not.
I feel like I have a joke that I like that I have a feeling you didn't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine takes place maybe like 2/3 of the way through the movie.
Mine's
that
like
helps.
At the end.
Okay, yeah. So DJ Diggins, you remember when he's like they're in the hotel room and he's keeping watch and the mouse shows up and he's like, "Who sent you?"
That's pretty good.
That got a big
good.
chuckle out of me.
That is good.
Which one's
I think
your joke?
Mine is just like, it's less the joke itself as much as the delivery. It's just kind of like really silly in a way that I enjoyed when Blofeld is like setting up the like, you can try and you can get out of the building and save her, or you can get out of the building and live, or you can try and save her. And then he kind of giggles and it's like, well, that's brothers for you. We know how to push each other's buttons. And then he presses the blow up button. I was like, that's cute.
True.
I like that.
I think that, to your earlier point, Diggins, in the hands of a lesser actor, I would have went, ugh. But Chrisoph Waltz, has enough, zhuzh to make it good.
He has these moments where you can see, he is a really charismatic and, good at these kind of, fake civil, somewhat silly threats that nonetheless have this air of menace to them. Where he has these really bad lines that he delivers in a way that kind of work. Where I can see, man, if the lines were good instead, he'd be killing it.
Yeah. I also feel like part of my problem with this movie, and I do think I compare a lot of these movies to Casino Royale, my favorite one of them. But I don't remember how true this is in Skyfall. But it's just if this movie took itself a little less seriously, it could have fun with stuff like that. And I think I'd enjoy that. But this movie thinks it's so fucking important. And it's just I have no patience for a movie like that, where it's this is a really serious, cool James Bond movie. And just I feel like you can get away with being a little more schlocky and cheesy and doing some of the things this movie does with, I don't know, the stupid Batista fight or the dumb little machine that I still don't even understand what it does, that James Bond has to, get his memories or something, whatever the fuck that is. But it doesn't play it as, not even play it as a joke, but it's just a really joyless movie, I think is my problem with it. And I don't think a James Bond movie has to be joyful, but it does have to kind of enjoy what it's doing.
I think the problem is, so the Daniel Craig movies in general have a much more serious tone to them. Not that there's not moments of silliness or that they're not over the top or kind of ridiculous, but they're a lot more Daniel Craig as Bond. He doesn't do as many quips. He's not as of a charmer as say a Pierce Brosnan James Bond. And that's just what these movies are like. That's the tone they go for. And I think the problem here is this is probably the most traditional of the Daniel Craig James Bonds, where they're like really trying to do the like more classic Bond villain, try to have like a more classic plot to it. And I mean, part of the problem is that, as I've said, I don't think that they structure it very well. But also, just like you're saying, they're trying to weld the Daniel Craig tone with a lot of the like sillier bits of the old James Bonds, and they really should have stuck. They should have committed to one of those two things more. Because welding them together just kind of they don't work well together.
It's weird. Man. This isn't the first Daniel Craig James Bond movie. So, it's like, why? And I think it's those things, I don't know how true they are in the other Craig Bond movies, but I think the fact that the convoluted nonsense story is in here, it really is just like the icing on top of the shit cake. By the way, this is the segment where we're saying nice things about the movie.
Yeah.
Nice thing. Boy,
hey, I kind of said a nice thing where I complimenting Chrisoph Waltz again. I will say Paddington's own Ben Whishaw, great. Daniel Craig, great. Ray Fiennes doing a good job. I don't know the name of Moneypenny's actress, but she's pretty good. Like
Naomi Harris, I think, or something.
They really did get a really good cast for this like set of Bond movies.
Who's Q's actor?
Paddington's own Ben Whishaw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Paddington's Ben Whishaw? Oh, okay.
Have you seen Paddington, DJ?
No.
Oh,
I'll come clean about that. Like
that's fine.
I mean,
front.
Wow.
You should, because it's great.
But you've seen Paddington 2, though.
I've not seen Paddington 2.
Wow.
My goodness.
I know, it's apparently the best movie ever or whatever.
It's really good. I mean, I'd say watch Paddington 1 first, but if you only have time for 1, Paddington 2, still pretty good.
Okay.
I think I watched 1 after 2. I can't remember.
I definitely watched them in order because I think I saw 1 before 2 came out.
Yeah,
anyway, good.
Very
nice,
much Paddington.
Nice things about Spectre, not Paddington.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I like how big and strong Bautista is.
Yo, Bautista makes no sense in this fucking movie.
Big and strong. And
What's his
that good?
His gimmick is he's got nails, press-on nails made of metal.
What?
What's this guy's name?
No,
He's got
nice
a name,
things,
right?
Nice
Hinks.
things.
Mr. Hinks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I like that he doesn't say anything the whole movie until he's about to die, and then he says shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Nice things. I think the action scenes were cool in terms of, like, they were filmed cool. I didn't really think they were interesting.
I like that Day of the Dead sequence, as I said. I like,
yeah.
It is.
Getting really granular, that moment where he's, like, about to snipe them, and they notice he's there because the one guy is smoking a cigarette and the sniper dot shows up in the smoke. That was really cool.
Oh, yeah. How about the bit where the building under explodes and he just, like, falls into a couch like he's Buster Keaton? That was pretty good.
That was good.
What else is good about this movie?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's hard because, like, it's not... I think that's the problem, or the thing, is that it's technically sound. It has good actors, but the writing is quite bad, and it's too long, and there's a lot of nonsense, and it's horribly paced. I had a very similar moment, Nando, I think you talked about it earlier, where it's like, oh my god, 45 minutes have gone by. And it's like, how did we arrive here?
So long.
I think it's a real problem with this movie.
See, what's another nice thing? They did hire good actors, like Chrisoph Waltz, Moriarty, Monica Bellucci, who is the funeral wife.
Oh yeah,
the guy who's Mr. White, pretty good.
Another thing about Bond boning down with the wife of the man he killed. I mean, she was Monica Bellucci. Can we blame him?
No, and that's the thing. Like, it really is. It's just such a weird. So many of the things that happen in this movie, I do feel like are envisioned on not in cue cards, but like I think they come up with things. Like, it seems like what they did was they gave everybody a couple of index cards. They were like, write down a cool thing that happened in a James Bond movie. And it's like, fight on a train, big guy with like hands that have little knives. Meeting where everyone turns their head and looks at him. Sex with Monica Bellucci. Kills some guys, whatever. And they just, like, put him in an order that didn't make any sense. Like, specifically, and I try not to get really hung up on, like, plot holes, but I do think there's some things that happen in this movie where you're like, wait, why'd you guys do that? Like, I think the big one for me is what do you call him, Tibbs? Remember when Tibbs meets them on the train, tries to kill him? on the way to the thing that what's his name wants them to go to.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I even watching anymore? I'd say the same shit with the fucking meeting where they're like, oh, look, it's James Bond. Here he is. And like, he stands there and like, he's like, oh no, they all know I'm here, and he's just able to leave. There's not even people by. Like, he's not. Where are the guys? No, you got so many guys.
He does have to throw that one guard off the balcony.
Yeah, fair.
The one who's like, hello, Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
What did that mean? Was that a reference that I missed?
Yeah, DJ,
why did he call it Mickey Mouse?
When he came in came in, the guard was like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Mickey Mouse. And then he shows him the ring to be like, I belong here. So it was a callback to a thing that had happened like 5 minutes ago, DJ.
Hey. Guys, I didn't watch this movie. I'm sorry. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. It's another one. Speed Racer, classic. I couldn't get to it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing... Oh, and then there's the other scene, speaking of scenes that don't make any sense. So there's that, right? There's things like that where a guy does a thing, and then in the big picture, you're like, wait, why'd they send him to do that? There's other scenes that are action scenes that I'm like, that's kind of a cool action scene. But then at the end, you're like, wait, what just happened? I'm sorry. He drove a plane down a mountain and just ran into Batista? Like, did he know he was driving the plane that way? What was this?
Yeah,
that was so much of that.
That was the one where it's like playing out like he's making a decision where he's like, all right, I'm going to crash through the barn and crash into them. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I mean, is there any way you could stop it if you wanted to? You're along for the ride here.
Yeah, like I get the idea of like, I'm going to bump him with the plane while the plane is like in flight mode and try to attack the car. That's kind of cool. That's some good James Bond nonsense. And then the barn thing, equally dumb. And it's like, it's just funny because that when he does do that with the plane, there's the moment where he like, there's a split second where you see him kind of make a choice. And I just cannot imagine being the other guys. Just like seeing that plane come through and like, what the fuck is that? The plane from before? No way. Wow, James Bond. So dumb.
Do you guys remember no, go ahead, Diggins.
I was going to say, since we're technically still in the saying something nice section.
Are we?
Technically. There are just lots of little touches that I do like. Like, towards the end when he gets captured and he's got the bag over his head and he's zip-tied and they're taking him in and they're just, like, yelling at him to go in the building and he just suddenly takes the gun from them and shoots both of them. Like, that's cool. That was a cool thing Daniel Craig just did.
Diggins, I hate to correct you, but I know you said zip ties, but they were actually like paper straw holders because he breaks through them like they're like paper mache. Like,
have you seen Daniel Craig's big broad chest? He's just that strong.
Yeah. He watched all those videos that Antifa made about how to break out of little zip ties last summer. It's not as hard as you think. I also, I will say, in general, because I'm watching that scene again with the one where he's doing the chase with the airplane, just because I was kind of confused about it myself. I like his wardrobe in this movie. I'll say most of his outfits are pretty cool. The outfit, that whatever he's wearing, like his little snow outfit's pretty cool. His tuxedos are cool. I like his Day of the Dead outfit a lot. Like that suit is very nice. I think Tom Ford has done wonderful things for James Bond. I don't care for Blofeld's weird little outfit.
I wanted to talk about
cape jacket thingy.
The cape jacket, the boat shoes with no socks. It's all bad. The capris,
you know what's crazy?
It's bad.
The boat shoes with no socks, very fashion forward, because that is, I mean, maybe not at the time, but that is much more in now. So they were actually way ahead of the time with that. That
was totally 2015. That was totally in.
Okay, but like that, good for them for being with the times in terms of the fashion. I don't know if it works for his character, but
the vibe of him is weird.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll make myself into a fashion pariah. I have never thought that looked good.
Yeah,
it is doable. I think with the right outfit.
I feel like it works on like a beach bum or someone like that. And I think there's the bit where he's showing them the whole compound, and it does seem like his vibe is like, I'm just a really chill world dictator murder man. And I don't buy it, but also I think that's why he doesn't wear Like, that's his shoe situation. I think part of it, too, is, like, I think they shoot him weird. Like, these movies know how to shoot Daniel Craig in a very well-fitting suit. And they try to shoot like, Blofeld at the same angle. I'm specifically looking at a shot from, like, 1 hour, 45 minutes, and about 20 seconds into the movie. And it's this long shot of James Bond and Blofeld just, like, walking down a corridor talking. I mean, Léa Seydoux, Madeline's in there, too. And because Blofeld is wearing this weird little cape, he's got a boxy frame, and he doesn't have anything to do with his arms. He just looks really awkward. I feel like he should be holding something. But, again, I like Léa Seydoux. I think she has cool outfits in this movie. I like her train outfit a lot. I like her train haircut. Like she really goes all out, you know?
Oh,
I don't think she's the female James Bond or whatever, like his one true love, because Vesper is cooler than her. And I, much like this character, will never get over that, but whatever. It's fine.
Oh, man. Can I just say that that's that ending sequence when he's trapped in the lobotomy chair and everything, God. and then they blow up the watch. So this is like supposed to be part of the big climax of the movie. They're in the desert complex that's the headquarters of Spectre. Blofeld has strapped Bond into the lobotomy machine and everything, right? Like, this is supposed to be, you know, the heart of the beast sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he uses the exploding watch that Q gave him to bust out of the lobotomy machine, and then he, like, takes a gun. They run down a single hallway. He shoots a few dudes, and then that's it. They did it.
Yep.
It's like you couldn't have made this sequence any longer than 30 seconds. Really?
Yeah.
Maybe if we didn't spend the first hour of the movie on bullshit, we could have had, like, an actually cool ending sequence of him, like, fighting his way through this complex or something. But, man, I was so disappointed by that.
That's the upsetting part is, by that point, you're, like, 2 hours into this movie. You're like, oh, okay, this has to be it, but it's not it. There's a whole nother ending, much like a certain, I don't know, like, a lot of movies did this. Like, Batman movies sometimes kind of had a bit where it's like, actually, the real ending's over here.
I mean, we've been complimenting that movie, but Casino Royale absolutely did this.
Yeah, Casino Royale did it, but at least the thing that they gave us was interesting. Or, like, if it with this, it's just like, we've defeated Blofeld, and then it's like, let's defeat Blofeld somewhere else. But also, apparently the explosion is like the biggest explosion ever, and they did it in real life. You couldn't. Wow. I would never have known.
They should have filmed it to be more interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
That's
right.
like, oh man, this is perfect because this is also a Bond movie. It's like there's this one, I forget which movie it is, but there's this one movie where they did like one of the craziest like practical car stunts ever, like completely bananas, insanely dangerous, where they like the car like jumps off a bridge, does a spiral in midair and lands on the other side, like upright, which they did like they did completely real. Like they actually did that with a car. And the way it's framed in the movie is it's like there's like wild banjo music, and then when it does the jump, there's a slide whistle.
Oh, I've heard of this.
And
yeah,
it makes it look so stupid when it's like a completely wild, like insanely impressive stunt.
Yeah,
and it's the same kind of thing. It's like, maybe I guess this explosion is super cool in real life, but in the movie it looks boring.
Yeah, could they have taken us all there to watch it while they were filming it, and then it'd probably be kind of cool. But again, it's like I think they. At this point in history, besides being all influenced by Jason Bourne and Batman, these movies are also starting to get influenced by the good Mission Impossible movies that were coming out a couple of years before them. And like with that, I do feel like there was that, he actually did this Burge to Buy thing. So you need a stunt that gets on the news that kind of makes your movie seem cool and real. And this was probably what they thought this was, but it definitely doesn't look like that. Like I'd never believe it. Not I'd never believe it, but I'd never come out of the movie like, wow, imagine that cool explosion. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He just does grab a gun, shoots 3 or 4 guys, and then a couple of guys are like running over to catch him. There's one guy on an ATV who like runs around like, and it's like he's just going there to be killed. But that whole sequence is mind blowing. to, use a pun, like, it's so weird that Blofeld goes out of his way to talk about this fucking machine. And he's like, it'll destroy all your memories.
Yeah, I have a question about the machine.
So many questions. But yeah, what's yours?
Is Bond so strong that, like, it didn't work? Because doesn't he needle him, like, in the place where it's like, this is going to make it so you have face blindness or, like, whatever fucking thing? So what, it just didn't work?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or does James Bond have face blindness and he's lying about it?
I don't know. I feel like I agree with you. I think we needed a little more. Either that he stops it before it happens, or, like, there's a reason it didn't work. As it is, it's just like Chrisoph Waltz tells us a thing's going to happen, and then it just doesn't for no reason.
Yeah, it's like if it would be like if in other James Bond movies, like because it's like a machine with like a gimmick and stuff that is like, whoop, it's getting closer. What are we going to do? And it'd be like if instead it just the laser went over James Bond's body, appeared to cut him in half, but then he didn't, and James Bond got up and was like, good thing I'm better than lasers, and then went out his business.
Lasers can't cut through people, you idiot.
Yeah, like, he's bleeding. Like, this thing got into his brain.
Yeah.
And instead it didn't, though.
And you know why? Because his strongest muscle is his brain.
Yeah, it really makes Blofeld a little less cool. Also, Blofeld's, like, rolling around this room on a rolly chair. Like,
yeah, right.
Don't make Blofeld look that cool. He looks, like, not cool.
Well, because this scene where they're at Octopus meeting and he's sitting at the table in silhouette.
Right.
I feel like that was actually like pretty menacing and worked well. But then, they kind of lose that.
I like him quickly. I like him in that scene in general. Like the moment when he just like suddenly acknowledges James and then looks directly at him. I thought that was pretty good.
I agree. Hey, look at that. There's parts of these movies that aren't the worst thing ever.
Honestly, having rewatched it now, I don't think I hate this movie because there's so much of it that there's a decent amount of it that works, or like things happen and I'm not like completely having a miserable time. It's just not that interesting.
Yeah, it's fair.
I think for me, it's more that like I don't enjoy it as a like. My investment in this movie hinges on my interest in James Bond's past, and then James Bond's connection to Madeline. And in both of those cases, I'm like, I either didn't want this or you haven't done it yet. But like, especially with the James Bond past thing, I think there's just an instinct in me that's like, that's not how this should go. It's good when you give him missions. And you can make the missions personal in some ways, but this, like, James Bond having a secret destiny is it's just exactly what I don't come to these movies for. So, I mean,
I don't mind in principle the, like, adoptive brother thing with Blofeld, but it's just, like, they don't do anything with it. It's like, you guys have seen GoldenEye, right?
Yeah.
In eternity ago, yeah.
Sure. Spoilers for GoldenEye.
That's fine.
If you
don't saw it.
It's definitely a movie I've watched. Yeah, totally.
It's the one with what's his name? With
Sean Bean.
Fucking Sean Bean. Yeah, I was gonna call him Boromir, but I couldn't remember if he's Boromir or Faramir. He's Boromir, right?
He is Boromir, and it's Faramir is the other one.
And that's the other thing. I wasn't sure what the names of them were. I'm not great at my Lord of the Rings. Anyway, yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't seen GoldenEye, and GoldenEye is a great Bond movie, so I would recommend
GoldenEye rules.
It is.
It was directed by the guy who made Casino Royale, right?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I think it is. I think it's... And that's kind of why Casino Royale is so good. I have to look that up. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Skip like a minute ahead if you don't want GoldenEye spoilers. Anyway, it would be like if in GoldenEye, instead of having the opening with Sean Bean where he dies, or seemingly dies... And then he shows up a little while later and it's like, actually, I'm the villain. Whoa. Instead of that, we had an opening where like, in a picture or something, it's obliquely referenced that James Bond used to have a partner. Then 2 hours later, Sean Bean shows up and says, I was your partner, James, but now I'm evil. and then someone's like, what was your relationship like? Unimportant.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That would be
a good assessment.
Like, that would be so much worse. And that's what this movie is. Like, there's no reason for us to either know about or care about their relationship until the exact moment that Blofeld explicitly states what it was.
So I looked it up. Martin Campbell, the director of GoldenEye. Man, does this guy have a rocky history. He directed some stuff.
He directed the Rockies?
He did. He directed all the Rockies. Rocky and Bullwinkle, that movie, where they were live action. But he's directed some TV shows, which, like, I don't know anything about them. GoldenEye seems like his first big movie. He directed a movie called No Escape the year before that, which I can't imagine is about the play. Yeah, it's about guys shooting each other or whatever. The play's called No Exit. What am I saying? So GoldenEye 1995. 1998, he makes Mask of Zorro. Another just sweet movie. Like, love that. Vertical Limit, a movie about mountain climbers I have not seen in 2000. Beyond Borders, 2003, not sure what that is. Comes back for Legend of Zorro. So that's the second. He did Mask and then Legend. 2006, he does Casino Royale. So, like, that guy, he's crushing it. He does some movie where Mel Gibson has a gun. Probably not any good. And then 2011, he takes Ryan Reynolds to space with Green Lantern. And then he he lays low for a while. He made that movie with Jackie Chan, The Foreigner, which probably is good now because he's good. And then he made that movie with Michael Keaton and Maggie Q, The Protege, which I think just came out.
Oh, yeah. That one did just come out.
I don't know if that's any good, but now I kind of want to see it because I do really like the James Bond movies he made and The Mask of Zorro. Like, that one, those are great.
The Protege felt like some kind of off-brand Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
Like, she works for Samuel L. Jackson. Michael Keaton kills Samuel L. Jackson. Now she's got or it's like John Wick, but person instead of dog.
Oh,
so,
and she's in something else, too. Like, she was in one of the other, like, spy movies. Was she in a Mission Impossible movie or something?
I feel like
she was in that Nikita show, but...
What? I don't...
She's in Mission Impossible 3 and Live Free or Die Hard. So she's just like... It's like...
Generic
I already saw her in
a
good movie. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, all this is to say, GoldenEye is very good.
This movie, not so much.
This movie, not so good. Like, it is insane that this ends with, like, actual printed out black and white pictures of other characters from other movies. And that's his ultimate revenge. It's not their headstones from their graves or, like, a full body picture of them or some sort of fucking hologram. It's just pictures.
Oh, hologram would have been sick. I would have loved a hologram.
Yeah, like with a hologram, they get to just be there and then, like, say a line as the real actor, and you're like, oh, cool, it's her again. But with this, it's just a picture.
Notice
wild.
that there is no one... I mean, I guess technically Mr. White was in Quantum of Solace, but he's not, like, the Quantum of Solace villain. That guy's just not in the printouts.
He definitely shows up in the little org chart somewhere. I can't remember what his name is, but I remember him being mentioned and being like, oh, that probably was. And I looked him up. Like, oh, yeah, that's the guy from Quantum of Solace. But yeah, you're right. They just skip over Quantum of Solace, which is nice of them. It means they get it. I think the James Bond movies, while some good, some bad, does seem like they kind of learned from their mistakes. But yeah, this movie was also the one where James Bond dressed up like Archer. That was kind of fun. Wears a tactical turtleneck,
That is cool.
What else is fun in this movie?
You know what's fun? When James and Madeline Swan,
which is, I'm pretty sure, I gotta double check this, the name of the character from Mad TV that is like a really weird Asian, like, dry cleaner character. Do you remember that?
No, I never watched Mad TV.
So, oh, really?
No, never really got into it.
I want to say her name was Madeline Swan, but I'm not positive about this. But yeah, so you like the bit where Madeline Swan and him...
So they're on the train together, and he's like, all right, well, if you're going to come on adventures with me, I have to train you. Here's how a gun works. And he hands her a loaded gun with no knowledge of her experience with a gun, which is like the craziest thing you could do. Like, what if that shit just pops off and that's it? There's the adventure over because, shot Bond right in the head or something like that.
DJ,
I can't believe... I'm like...
You know what he said? Wouldn't be the first time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm like, that line, I was like, it's like a throwaway line, but I'm like, what does he mean by that? Like...
Well, Moneypenny shot him in the other one, right? Is that what he's talking about?
He didn't die.
I think he's just saying it wouldn't be the first time someone shot me.
No, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't she, like, shot and killed? Whatever. But, like, and then she just the cool, like, takes the mag out, pops them in the chamber, and she's like, I know how to handle a gun. And then, actually, this one was, like, a cute line when he's like, I guess we could skip the hand-to-hand combat. And I'm like, that's fun. That was a fun little line. But yeah, I just thought it was crazy that James Bond handed her a loaded gun with no knowledge of how she'd be able to handle that shit. Be
James
careful.
Bond-
Maybe that's why I get shot all the time.
James Bond also walked into a place, looked directly at the security camera filming him, talked about sensitive information he didn't want the enemies to find out, and then just like left that footage sitting on the hard drive.
Yeah.
Is James Bond an idiot? Have we considered the possibility that James Bond's a big old idiot?
That's the thing. Like in the first movie, he is in Casino Royale. He is like kind of, naive and he's reckless, right? That's what I was saying about him. But in these movies, he does just seem stupid. And it's like, there's a difference between him just, his devil-may-care attitude versus, like, just making mistakes that a 50-year-old agent probably shouldn't be making. I was just saying, remember the part where their hotel is an escape room for a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
And it's got, like, it really does look like a set dressing you'd expect from an escape room where it's, like, the videotape and the computer. And, it's great.
And he looks at a videotape that's like, memories of my daughter. And he's like, maybe don't watch this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question.
One of the pictures... Sorry, I just want to... Real quick, DJ.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
They walk into that escape room in the American. I forget how it's pronounced. And there's like a bunch of Polaroids of Léa Seydoux, ostensibly for him to be like, I've always got to think of my daughter who I love, right?
Yep.
One of those pictures, uncomfortably sexual for the daughter whiteboard.
I'm going to go one further and say two of them. I'm with you. Because I have it open now. So I'll take a screenshot and I'll show you which two I don't love. There's the two lowest ones, because it does seem like they are organized by, not like organized by age, I guess, because there's a graduation one in the middle here. But she's just like a really, she's just really about that life here. I'm going to put the picture in the chat. Jesus, so many steps. Okay, upload. So like the one on the bottom is definitely, like the one on the right is probably the one I think you're referring to.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of, yeah.
The one on the left, I'm also like, that looks like a picture you send like I don't know, like a boyfriend or something. I don't know.
Like
They're French or whatever.
The left one is weird, but I feel like I would let it slide if it was the only one. But next to the one on the right, where she for the listener, the one on the left, she's like sitting on the bed, kind of leaning on her left arm, kind of giving like a half smirk to the camera. So it's like, kind of weird. The one on the right, she's laying on the bed, propping up her head with her arm, kind of like giving bedroom eyes to the camera. Her shirt is hiked up a little bit so you can see like her midriff. It's like, man, that's a picture from right before you bone down. Like, why do you have that of your daughter?
Yeah, it's like the Maggie Simpson do it for her board from The Simpsons, except like the pictures get worse and worse as you get down the board. I don't know. She's but yeah, I think it's just that they're French,
Could be.
Yeah, sure.
Although,
are they French?
I'm not sure what Mr. White... I mean, Léa Seydoux is French. I don't know what Mr. White and Madeline Swan are supposed to be.
That's a good question, yeah.
TJ, what were you going to say before I rudely interrupted you?
Oh, no, you're fine. When Bond and Madeline, they go to Spectre compound and...
Spectre Con.
Yeah. And Chrisoph Waltz has, like, this big reveal of, I filmed the video with James talking to your father. Why was it, like, really tense in that moment? And, like, why didn't he want her to see any of that? He didn't hide anything from her of that conversation. He pretty much told her everything that was going on.
Well, DJ, many would consider it traumatic to watch their father commit suicide.
No, I get that. But, like, he was almost like, no, don't show her. It'll expose my secret. He just been like, yo, your father killed himself in this, like, just like, turn away. But this was like, no, don't show her. You're going to reveal something I didn't tell her. Like, that's what it read to me as. So, like, there's just, like, a lot of little scenes like that where I misguessed the tone, and I wasn't sure if it was me being an idiot or the movie being bad. I don't know. Did you guys, like, feel... or was that, like, just me?
I definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah, there's an urgency
Yeah.
to his tone, which like does make sense for I don't want this person I care about to see their father commit suicide. But in like a movie context, it does feel like he's like, oh no, this will ruin everything.
Yeah.
I guess
It's
he's
like-
mad, not mad, but he's like, he doesn't want her to see because he gave her dad the gun, right? So he's like kind of part of it. I think that's the moment where he gets like kind of goes over the edge and she gets a little mad at him.
I don't know. I feel like this guy knew, like, I feel like this guy was at the point where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one way or another, you know, I'm just gonna do this on my terms. I get it. It's not great, but the way where like the villain that's like, oh, you didn't know you were being recorded, you lied to her, and you know, something like that. But it was just the tone of this movie seemed misplaced in a lot of places. Yeah, I don't know.
Remember when Blofeld has a cat for one shot?
Yeah, because he's a Bond villain. They all have
Yeah.
cats.
Well, because he's that Bond villain. He's Dr. Evil, the proto Dr.
That's-
Evil.
That
Mr.
is
Bigglesworth.
specifically like, yeah, where the like evil genius with a white cat that he pets comes from. It comes from Blofeld.
I guess it's funny because of how culturally we've kind of come around to that. Is I would venture a guess that if most people saw that image that are under the age of 40, their mind would go to Austin Powers, you know?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Because of how Blofeld just hasn't been culturally relevant besides just being in the other James Bond movie, but like it's not like he's, you know, he's not been in it. It's not like he's Magneto and he shows up in every other James Bond movie or whatever. He's like,
Sure.
he's just in one from a while ago. And
It's
then
not like
it's like
he's
here's
Magneto and the people are clamoring for a movie about him hunting Nazis in Brazil.
yeah,
Oh my god.
that would be great. Maybe they
That would
will.
be great.
But yeah, he like I think if most people saw this guy, you'd be like, oh, it's Dr. Evil. He's got the face scar. He's got the cat. He wears that weird little, you know, jacket, whatever that is. And I think what's interesting about it is, as far as the history of the character goes, originally Blofeld is not related, right, to James Bond. Like, I think that's an invention of this movie.
Yeah.
But that is a plot point in Austin Powers, where it's like, we're not as different as you think, Austin. So, like, it really kind of seems like they cribbed the Austin Powers movie to come up with what their Dr. Evil guy, who is the real original one, is actually doing.
There is
Wild.
there is that weird scene where Bond goes on an extended rant about how he hates the Dutch.
Yeah. I mean, this Bond probably needs a penis and larger pump, if I'm being honest, you know? I wouldn't be
Wow.
surprised if he had one.
Nando delivering slander to Daniel Craig.
I'm not saying Daniel Craig. I'm saying this James Bond, you know? His blood flow must be a disaster, you know? He keeps getting shot. I wouldn't. I'm sure Daniel Craig has got no problems whatsoever. I don't know. Have we ever seen him naked in movies? Has he ever hung dong? Do we know?
I don't think Daniel Craig's ever
I don't
hung
think so,
dong.
no.
I feel like
Maybe-
pretty confident in saying.
Maybe a kid in King Arthur's court, he does full frontal.
He's doing the Macbeth play. Did you see that?
Oh, really?
I did
On
see
Broadway?
That, yeah.
Yeah, with Ruth
fuck.
Negga. Now, I
Gotta
don't
get
think
tickets.
Macbeth hangs dong, but I am also not writing it out. Artistically, maybe there's value there.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like-
listen, every staging is different. You know, I think
Yeah.
you could do a version of Macbeth where he hangs dong.
And I think that would definitely, you know, put asses in seats. Frankly, he might save Broadway. You know, from
true.
Dear Evan Hansen and Cats and the mess it has become. We get a little,
Wow,
you know,
wow,
Daniel
I mean,
Craig.
He would definitely win the Tony for best hung dong.
I hope so. I certainly hope so. But yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, so that bit is weird. What else is weird about this movie?
It's
I don't know.
weird how so at the very like the climax where Blofeld goes, you have 3 minutes to
Yep.
find your woman, blah, blah, and I'm like, wow, 3 minutes, there's no way. It's like I get like you're not gonna give up, but I'm like, man, 3 minutes. That it's an amount of time where I refuse to believe it, because like, what are you counting in your head and being like, oh, here? Like, he might as well have said 30 seconds, like
Yeah.
for 3 minutes. Like, yeah, I guess 3 minutes is the least amount of believable time that he could go through an amount of building and find his girl, but I was just like, wow,
I forget,
that's a hell of a time to land on.
How does he find her?
Oh, like so he has like a face-off with the helicopter that has Blofeld in it, and then he hears a muffled like,
right, okay.
and then
so
like
it is just
like,
dumb luck.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Okay, cool.
Also, what is this place that has like a room that has just like a piece of glass in the middle of it? What the fuck? Did Blofeld
insane.
put that there? Yeah,
I think he did. Yeah, but I mean, okay, it's not crazy that there's bulletproof glass in the building because it's the old MI6 building,
Right.
But just a big room with just like a whole thing. Like, was it a teller operating station? I don't know. It was just,
Yeah. It looks like it's for holding magnetos and stuff. Like because it's also like small, and it's like it's like a little prison room. Maybe but it's not where Silva was put in the last one of these, where he broke out of. Like they're really tight in MI6 with like, we gotta put the bad guy in prison, but we also have to let him have some room to like walk around and act and stuff so that we can have all our big showdowns. Yeah,
we're not monsters, right? We're gonna be civil.
Speaking of movies this cribs from, and it doesn't because these came out way too close together. Do you remember Mission Impossible 5 ends about the same way as this one?
Is that the nuke one, or is that...
No, that's 4.
They're all kind of the nuke one, but that one is this is the first one that introduced whatever her name was, Rebecca Ferguson, yeah, which is also the Léa Seydoux of these movies, like this like new can you trust her, can you not, female equivalent of Ethan Hunt, who is his equal, even though I think the other movies make a better case for her. The Mission Impossible's better than this.
Rebecca Ferguson is much more an equal of Tom Cruise than Léa Seydoux is of Daniel Craig.
Yeah, and but there's also
not impugning Léa Seydoux as an actress. I mean, in terms of how they do in the movie.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Tom Cruise, and I feel like with Tom Cruise, there's nothing to compare it to. So it's like he's in love with Michelle Monaghan, and that's something that we see in Mission Impossible 3, and then we get a little bit of an idea that that's still something he cares about in Mission Impossible 4, but he's left that life behind. But then in Mission Impossible 5, we get the first like real, like, oh, this is a femme fatale that Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, the sexless running machine, he's finally met his match. But with James Bond, he's been falling in and out of love constantly, especially this one with Vesper, but also with all these other like, the one from Quantum of Solace, and
it's an entire trope that the Bond girl. He has a new one in the movie.
Yeah, so Léa Seydoux being this important, and so important too that, and this is the 4th James Bond movie with Daniel Craig, and it's the second one where the movie ends with him just quitting forever, and then he comes back in the next one and he's like, actually, I didn't quit, which is great. That's how movies should go. Yeah, not a lot of gadgets in this movie, just the watch.
I know.
Are there others?
It's because Bond's on the shit list in the beginning, so Q's like, you have smart blood, which that was the craziest phrase ever. They must have thought they fucking nailed it. Oh, what about smart blood? We'll just smart everything.
The car has some stuff.
Yes, the car.
Yeah, but there's no loadout. Q goes, the car has things. Like the fun part of Bond movies is when like Q goes like, you'll never guess what we've done this time.
Yeah,
like, that's the fun part.
I feel like this James Bond never really got time for fun gadgets, which is okay, I guess, because like that was part of the pitch for this one. But it just is something that like if we're getting closer to Blofeld and maybe we were getting closer to gadgety Bond, that was if Blofeld kind of signaled a paradigm shift, maybe we could have more of those. But yeah, doesn't really happen.
I love when they're waiting for like at the train station. After they get off the train to like get to Spectre, and the car comes up in the middle of the desert, and she goes, "What is that?" And he goes, "That's a 1946 Rolls Royce." Blah blah blah. I wanted to go, "Yeah, fuck nuts. I know what kind of car it is." I mean, like, what is it functionally? Yeah. Jesus Christ, you're so dense.
Remember when in that compound there's like a meteor or something?
Yeah.
He's like, cool.
It's so stupid.
It's like he's just picked from a Mad Libs of James Bond villain origin stuff, and it's like, What are your themes? Surveillance, meteor, mind erasing thingy, cat. It's just like, okay, whatever.
What I love about the meteorite thing is like they are specifically brought over to the meteorite room, and like the butler, the evil butler, is like, please go in by yourselves. This is where the meeting will be. And then they talk about the meteorite and then immediately leave the room to continue the meeting somewhere else.
Yeah.
The first thing, you guys remember the first thing Blofeld says is?
I don't know.
He goes, "You can touch it."
Nice.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's not an octopus, James. Touch away.
Speaking of penis enlarger,
maybe you would want to touch it if it was an octopus, James.
Yes, there may be an octopus inside.
I'm the architect of all. I'm the author of all your pain and pleasure.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes.
It is interesting to get to your point. Like, yeah, the Bond trope is like every time it's a new girl, but they had to make that like it's why I'm the villain. I've been killing all of your girls. It's like, oh, that's why. Not just because James Bond just finds a new person every movie because you've been murdering them. I guess you're evil.
And it's like you murder them, but also like it's not like he murders them like out of the line of duty. It's always like something that happens where it's like they were gonna get killed at this point, regardless. They were doing a James Bond mission, or like, I don't know. I guess Vesper's a little different, but who's the other one? I forget, but there was one in there that I'm like, you didn't really do that though. That just happened. You're taking credit. He's very, I think it's funny that his whole thing, he has like a tablet. He's just walking around doing tablet stuff, like a little kid. It's like James Bond's like, here, play with your tablet, do tablet time while me and Madeline go on a little tour of all the screens. But yeah, his whole thing is like screens and technology and blah, 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 whatever.
It would have been great if this Smart Blood was actually a Spectre plot. And it's like, the nanobots that you know this is? That is actually me. I'm the architect of all your pain. Literally, burn.
Yeah.
Just like frying him from the inside.
There's some hint of that where M is like, you've got to shut down the Smart Blood. Anything we can see, they can see.
Right.
But they don't really do much with it.
It doesn't matter after M is like, we can't let them use this. And then nothing matters anymore.
And I could see Smart Blood being part of maybe, I don't know, how they beat the little drill thing, but that's not what happens. It just doesn't
maybe it
work.
explains how he can fall, so far and just be totally fine.
Well, with this little circus net or whatever.
He does a little roll, DJ. When you do a little roll at the end of a fall, that means you don't get hurt.
That's a good point. I figure Smart Blood might help though. He's like Steve Rogers' Super Blood.
It's true.
Your blood is smart now. You can get up to an app. You can check your blood levels, your glucose. You can check everything.
We'll definitely have Smart Blood sometime in the future. We'll just you'll have to get a subscription or something. I don't know. Amazon Bloodo or something. Remember when Batista claws that guy's eyes out with his little nails? Yeah. And it's kind of like, I've seen people do that without the nails in movies and stuff. I think it's nice that you have them. But then you snap that guy's neck afterwards, so whatever.
I honestly didn't realize he had the nails at first, because that is just that's how you gouge someone's eyes out. Just with your normal human hands.
Game of Thrones came out right around the same time, and a guy did that and that. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but that was half Thor Bjornsson. He's so big and strong.
Yeah, he's not a weakling like little Batista. Tiny little. Yeah.
It's interesting. No, sorry, go ahead.
I do remember just being sold on this guy as his name is, because this was when I was really oh, this is gonna be cool because I like Skyfall, and they were and the new bad guy, henchman guy, is Tibbs, and he's got these razors on his thumbs that he can use, and I was like, wow, that'll be in a video game, like Jaws and all the Odd Job and whatever. And it's just he just did it once for this little, I don't know, meeting.
Also,
or Hank, sorry, yeah, you're right, Diggins. I don't know why I thought Hibbs.
I want to say also this movie is bullshit because at no point does Dave Bautista wear spectacles that are too small for his big face.
Yeah. It's weird that he was cast in this role after the success of Guardians, where it's he's an actor man, not just a big strong man. So, let's have him do some acting, not just be the heavy for a fucking Bond movie.
Oh, it took a while for that to sink into the public consciousness that Batista's actually a really good actor.
Yeah, I think that the idea with him here was like, he's gonna be in really good movies now, and like, this is a really good movie, but it wasn't a really good movie. But also, I think he managed to skate by like not really being in it that much, and you kind of forget he was ever in one of these. Like most of the people in this movie.
True.
Pretty cool that he does.
It is not bad. It's bizarre that I still don't get it. He's like hired by Chrisoph Waltz to kill James Bond on the train on the way to the meeting Chrisoph Waltz wants him to be at. And the way he decides to kill James Bond in this moment is by like flipping over the table in front of him to start a wrestling match. Like, you were behind him.
Oh, he doesn't just flip the table, Nando. He runs up and kicks it.
Yeah. He's just, I say this about a lot of people in movies, but I do just use this as my explanation for why a dumb guy's doing a dumb thing. Kind of seems like he's Blofeld's nephew or something, and he wants to play. He wants to be part of Spectre, and he's like, go fight James Bond. Do whatever, have fun.
It's like, I can't make you one of the octopus, but, you can go beat people up.
Yeah, put on your little finger things and see what you could do. I mean, he does get killed in a kind of fun way, but I did not care for him. He does wear a good suit, though. Like, he dresses well.
Yeah,
again,
he's like hulking out of it.
Yeah.
He's Draxing out of it.
Great outfits in this movie, except for the one that what's-his-name wears. All right, so the movie ends with this big dumb tower thingy, and also this foils what's-his-name's plan, Moriarty's plan, to shoot M.
Hot
but he didn't shoot him because there's no bullets or whatever. Great stuff.
Do you remember?
Do you remember
when?
I think DJ, you and I are gonna say the same thing, so you go ahead.
Probably. Oh, I was gonna say, do you remember when Moriarty goes to M? Hey, you know what the M stands for? Moron. And then you know what the C stands for? Fucking careless. Was that what you were gonna say, Diggins?
I was going to bring that up, except I really thought he was going to say something else.
I did too. Or I just figured they'd leave it there. It'd be like, what does the M stand for? Moron. And like, you know what the C stands for?
Because he's British. They throw that around a lot more casually than we do.
Well, I guess it was a fun reveal where it's, aha, I've taken all the bullets out of your gun, you careless fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, I guess there's that.
I don't know. Ralph Fiennes is good. He's a very good actor. I think he's okay in these.
Very good Voldemort.
Great Voldemort. Great, I don't know what else is he good in. Probably good in that Kingsman movie.
Yeah.
I feel like he's in so many things. How am I not coming up with one? He's good. Is he Alfred in something? He's Alfred in the Lego Batman movie.
Alfred? Oh, wow.
He's one of them. But what else? Let's see. What else is he in? Oh, yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. Good in that. Schindler's List. I wasn't sure if he was in Schindler's List. There's a lot of guys in that I'm like, that could be some other guy. But, yeah, and he's great in Hail Caesar. He's great in movies. I was talking about Hail Caesar the other day. You guys seen that, right?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen Hail Caesar.
Okay. So in that movie, are they doing a real musical, or are they doing a pastiche of, like, Anything Goes, South Pacific?
I think it's a pastiche. I think so that there were no legal troubles, they just made their own music.
That's what I thought too, but I could not remember because I started watching Schmigadoon the other day and we were talking about this, and I was like, I don't remember how it came out. Anyway, just curious. But yeah, so Ralph Fiennes is good. I don't think this movie gives him anything to do. Like, I think he's very good in Spectre, and who knows, maybe he'd be good in another one of these. But I think this movie, like, it feels very much like this movie invents a subplot for him, because if he wasn't doing that, he would be doing nothing because James Bond went rogue, and that's a shame.
Yep.
Yeah, movie's bad. What else happens? That's it. And then he quits.
Yep, no more bonding.
Then Chrisoph Waltz is like, kill me.
Yeah.
James Bond is like, no, I'd rather go bang Lea Seydoux.
Yeah. And then, like, I have the scar from the other ones now. Now do you get it, kids? From other Bond. And it's like, you've kind of seen this guy before. And we're all like, he's usually bald, though. And it's like, yeah, maybe in the next one. I don't even think I do that, though.
It'll be a Lex Luthor style. He goes to prison and his head is shaved.
Yeah, they shave your head for prison.
Whoa, crazy. And then he has a meeting on a boat with Deathstroke. That's never going anywhere.
Yep. I think I like Quantum of Solace more than this. So I think that makes this the worst of my Craig Bond movies. I think I just like Quantum of Solace a little better because it's dumb, but it's like harmlessly dumb. I think this movie, I don't know.
Harmfully dumb? It's
Kind
so
of.
dumb it's harmful?
Just all the backstory and canon and stuff. It's just no fun for me. It takes a lot of the fun out of it, whereas Quantum of Solace is just like a little rip-roaring good time. But it's not, but that's what it's going for.
It's a rip-roaring bad time.
Yeah, it's a rip-roaring time. I think I do like Olga Kurylenko in that more than like Lea Seydoux in this, because in Quantum of Solace, Olga Kurylenko is just like a lunatic. She just wants to kill that one guy, and that's all she cares about. Whereas Lea Seydoux in this she's there, and she has like objectives and stuff, but she's pretty helpless in the end of the movie, and it's not that fun. They don't give her someone to fight. She helps a little bit with what's his name, with Batista, but like, I don't love her in this. What is her job? She's a psychiatrist, right, or something?
She's just kind of some kind of generic medical practitioner. I'm not sure we ever get her specialty.
In a ski resort for some reason.
Yeah, wild.
Well, she's there because it's a remote location where it's easy for her to hide.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not like a practitioner then. She's trying to hide, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
They
just had to send Bond to somewhere with snow. They're like, yes.
Yeah.
This will look beautiful.
So he can do a cool chase on, like, skis? No, planes. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's such a fucking waste.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
we already
escape.
did the ski chase in another Bond movie, though. I forget.
Yeah, but they're
which one.
fun. Whatever. You can
it,
retread
Inception. They already did it in that, where it was like they did kind of scoop him with like a very James Bond. Like I mean, everybody, kind of. There's always a little bit of James Bond in Christopher Nolan movies, but I think that bit in that one is the most overtly James Bondy, and it's better than this. But yeah, you know what? That's another thing. I don't like any of the Spectre goons. I don't think any of those goons are fun. They don't have silly
they're not
guns.
very memorable.
Yeah. So anyway, the movie's bad. The end.
Yep. We wrote the book
much.
on it.
What are your guys' thoughts about the next one? Not like what you think is going to happen, but just like what do you want from it compared to this?
Well, it's interesting because we're wrapping the book on the Craig Bond, so I'd like him to go out with some kind of story completion. I mean, I'll settle for a good movie, right? I don't need a lot of what I feel like this movie was trying to do, but just like a fun wrap up to because I think Craig has been a very good James Bond. Half the movies are good.
He's always good in them. It's never his fault
too.
for when they're not good. It's always the story.
He doesn't have the Pierce Brosnan problem where Pierce Brosnan is good in a good Bond movie, but if the material's bad, like he is not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Diggins? What are you looking for in this final Daniel Craig Bond movie?
I'm a simple man of simple tastes. I don't need a lot from my James Bond movies. If there's some cool set pieces, if the plot is, has some fun twists and turns, but is relatively straightforward and easy to follow, and he says cool things to people, and, there's some pretty ladies that also do some cool action scenes alongside him. That's all I need. I would like it if I know Chrisoph Waltz is in this one. I would like it if he has a better chance to kind of do the Bond villain stuff that that God has ordained for him.
Yeah.
I think that's like the main like specific thing I want out of this movie. It's just like, man, I really hope that second bite at the apple at Blofeld goes well for Chrisoph Waltz. What about you, Nando? What do you want for the next movie?
Yeah. For a movie you may or may have already seen.
Just a start to finish thrill ride with some twists and turns, some things I legitimately was not expecting, and a pretty silly but reasonably dangerous thing that he's after, or that the thing is. Like, I feel like another problem with Blofeld and kind of with Silva was they didn't really have, like, they had an angle, like, they had, like, motivations, but what they were actually doing and the danger they posed to the world was pretty vague. And it was vague and just, like, kind of whatever. Whatever the other movies today were about, those guys want that too. So I want one that's at least, even if it's not that, even if it's not the most original thing in the world, I want it to be kind of different. I want it to have a fun tone and I want all the characters in it to be utilized well, and I want it to have a bit where he, like, you know, just all this stuff happens, all those things that you guys said, plus a car that, or not a car, well, good car stuff too, but a boat, that plane boat thing.
Yeah, plane boat.
Plane boat.
Pretty good. Yeah. And you know what I want? I want a lot of Jeffrey Wright. That would make me very happy. Because I can't remember if he's even in this.
He's not.
I don't think he is.
He gets name dropped at one point. After Bond bones down with Monica Bellucci, he's like, I'm putting you in contact with Felix Leiter, a friend of mine in the CIA, who can help protect you.
So, like, I really like him in Casino Royale, but I do like how when he shows up in Quantum of Solace with... Do you remember who is working with him in Quantum of Solace, by the way? Wild.
No.
Black Widow's own David Harbour is like the other, I think it's like CIA agent or whatever. But I do like that Leitner is, I like that, like, just that Felix Leitner seems to be in this other universe where in America they watch the Felix Leitner movies and he does Felix Leitner adventures and every so often meets up with some James Bond guy. But like I like that the characters in this universe don't stop existing when James Bond stops looking at them. Like, they're all like got just guys in there. Like, their characters develop in ways that is like that's reasonable, and like their relationships with James Bond develop, so they're not like really that static. And I think he's the best example of that. I think his like the way his relationship with like Q and Moneypenny and stuff like that over time, like, that's fun. But yeah, so a lot of great Jeffrey Wright would be great in this movie. So those things. Guys, do you want to get to our classic segment?
Maybe.
All right, DJ, we'll start with you. What do you have to recommend to the fine people?
Oh gosh, Nando, it's just crazy. I feel like I'm like way behind on TV. There's all this like great TV. There's like Reservation Dogs, and there's Squid Game, and there's all this like good stuff, and I'm just so behind on it in my little reality TV bubble and sports. Been watching a lot of baseball. Lately. So I do have a recommendation. So I know, like 2 weeks ago, maybe I recommended Deathloop, and I do love that game. I don't want to come off like I've soured on that game at all. But I do feel like I played too much of it too quickly. Because the idea of it is that there's like a repetition to it, and I think I was just kind of getting, like, I was just like mainlining it too quickly, so I took a break. I decided to pick up another game I had purchased recently that came out the week before, called Tales of Arise. So if those of you aren't familiar with the Tales of series, it's like one of those like single or co-op like anime style games. The game is a lot like Final Fantasy VII Remake. No, just kidding. Another classic inside donkey joke. No, but like, so it's like freestyle combat where like you're moving around and putting commands to do like different combos and stuff. It's like a just classic JRPG, or I guess more like a modern JRPG, open world kind of exploring, side quests, all that stuff. It's usually with these games, like, you know what you're getting. I feel like Bandai Namco hasn't done a ton of innovating with these games, but like they're always of a good quality, and I really enjoy them. But I kind of like enjoy those Japanese RPGs in general. I never played Scarlet Nexus, but that's what I might pick up on like a Black Friday sale, because I'm pretty sure I would enjoy that game too. That was another one that came out like earlier this year, which is like the same vibe. But if you like JRPGs, I think Tales of Arise is like a good option. Maybe wait for it to go on sale if you don't want to pay like the full $60 for it. Especially, we are like entering like the next few months. There's so many video games coming out. I'm like going to go crazy. We got the Hot Wheels game. We got the Guardians of the Galaxy game. We got Elden Ring. We got the new Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like, this is going to be crazy. But yeah, if like you're looking for like, and it's like long, right? You're like 40 hours to really sink your teeth into. I think Tales of Arise is like good. I'm going to be chipping at it away for like a while. I've been like playing that and some Deathloop like on and off when I have some time here and there. But yeah, I've been like really bad at taking in new content between sports and reality television. So yeah, but Tales of Arise, this is a good video game check out. I don't have much more, but I'll try and like watch some good and different TV. I always fall into the same holes. I was like watching like new Forged in Fire episodes that I hadn't seen the other day because I'm like, I'm gonna watch Forged in Fire. I finally caught up on Rick and Morty season 5. What a great season of Rick and Morty! One of my like favorite seasons in a while. I know I'm like 8 months late with like a new season of Rick and Morty, but like I just caught up on that. So that gives you guys an idea of where I am culturally. I'm always just like 3 months behind the trend is. So I guess I'll get to Squid Game by Christmas. So yeah, that's all I got for recommendations.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There are a lot of good games coming out. Like the Hot Wheels one, maybe.
Oh, man, I'm so stoked on the Hot Wheels game.
Comes out in like an hour or something, a couple hours.
You know what also came out that I want to get together and do? Gloomhaven, I should mention this. The digital version of Gloomhaven released their final version and has released the campaign. I haven't played it yet, but I like definitely want to. So like
Cool.
that's another thing to just, not do and talk about and fantasize about possibly doing.
Well, I mean, with some big events coming up, it's going to be difficult,
You don't say.
Yeah, free time will be on the short supply, but after that,
Hot Wheels and Gloomhaven.
Yeah,
and gangbusters. So
nice. What about you, Diggins?
I just have one quick rec this week. I have wrecked this thing in general before, but I'm just gonna say season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows started a few weeks back, and it is just, I mean, season 1 of What We Do in the Shadows, pretty good. Season 2, extremely good. Season 3, about on par with season 2, just like killing it. Extremely funny. If you don't know, What We Do in the Shadows is a TV show about a group of vampires that live on Staten Island. They're kind of a bunch of losers of the vampire world, but it's just like, it's, Office documentary style, a lot of talking to the camera stuff, but just about these vampires kind of like living their lives, or living their unlives, as the case might be. And increasingly, as it goes on, it becomes a lot about one of their familiars, which is, a person who does all their menial tasks for them in the hopes of one day becoming a vampire. Guillermo becomes a bigger and bigger part of the series. Everyone in that show is just like impeccable comic timing, but he is fantastic too. I personally love Matthew Berry as Laszlo, the British one, and he just has a real gift for line delivery in such a way that it doesn't matter how mundane the line he's saying is just the way he says it is so funny. Like there's one thing I think it's from way back in season 1. There's one point where it's just like he's forced to apologize to someone. And all he says is I'm sorry. But he just kind of just like goes up to them and is like, I'm sorry! Like out of nowhere. And it killed me. But so yeah, that show.
I was going to ask, did you watch Toast? Toast of
I
London?
have watched like half of Toast, which is much more of the incredibly dry, like British style of humor than What We Do in the Shadows is. But Matthew Berry's, that's the Matthew Berry's like show. Like he's the main character of that one, if you were not aware. And I think he is still really funny in that though. So he has, very similar qualities. But anyway, yeah, season 3 is like halfway done at this point. Absolutely still killing it. Great show. So if you haven't hopped on that train yet, now is a great time to do it.
Nice. I will recommend, let's say, 2 or 3 things. As far as comics, I haven't read anything. I haven't started anything new. I'm actually pretty close to finishing the Scarlet Witch series that I've been talking about from 2015. I actually really like it. I'm surprised it's got a lot of continuity, like recently, but a lot of the rest of it, everything from maybe issue 3 to issue 10 was very kind of one shot. Like, well, Scarlet Witch goes to Japan. Scarlet Witch goes to, I don't know, Ireland, and deals with this thing. And I don't know, it's kind of cool. I do think I like the art a lot. I think it's it feels very different book to book, which is great, because she's going to new locations. But I do like the character Scarlet Witch, and I think what they've done with her in Marvel shows is interesting. Like, I feel like she's obviously gotten more interesting as time goes on. But I also feel like there's so much room for them to do more with her and give her just, like, adventures. And I have a feeling a lot of these things that she's doing in this book are the things that Doctor Strange would do in the MCU or Loki, where it's like, oh, there's a magic disturbance in Japan. Let's go investigate it. But I would love like a Scarlet Witch show where that's like her deal because she's quite fun. Also made more progress on another magic thing, Strange Academy, which I'm really enjoying by Skitty Young, but haven't made too much more progress on it. Something I've been wanting to read for a while just came onto Marvel Unlimited. It's called X-Men Grand Design. It's supposed to be like a modern, well, not like a modern retelling, but a kind of like, I don't know, Spider-Man life story. Let's look at the whole history of the X-Men smushed into 6 issues or whatever. So definitely going to read that this week. And then we have that Hot Wheels game, which I'm very excited about. But I have to wreck it again because I finished it and then watched it about halfway through again. Is like Squid Game is just so good. I have a hard time with shows like this where someone's like, oh, you gotta watch, Ted Lasso. Oh my God, you gotta watch it. And then the next week you're like, did you watch it? And you're like, no. Oh, you gotta watch Ted Lasso. However, I think the thing about Squid Game that's fun, besides the fact that it's just really good, is it is very mysterious and surprising. So if you're into stuff like that, it would probably be good to watch it sooner than later so that you don't get those surprises spoiled.
Okay.
It's hard to explain without giving too much away, but it is like very battle royale-y, and but it's also very surreal, super character driven. There's so much time to just like figure out what all these guys' deals are and really get connected to them, and it gets to the end and it's brutal because it's a game where people die because of the game. So, but it is very cool.
I would be interested if any of our listeners know, if one of you could tell me how similar it is to Kaiji, because it sounds like the exact same thing.
Why is Kaiji doing his thing? Like, what's Kaiji's deal as a character?
He gambles all his money away and needs more money, and a man tells him about the casino where you lose if you die. Where you die if you lose, excuse me. And he's like, that sounds good.
So this is kind of like that. Casino, is it a casino like roulette?
I'm being silly. They don't tell him about the part where you die if you lose until he shows up.
They don't tell the guys in Squid Game that either. Although I feel like if anybody ever did anything like this to me, that would be my first question. Just like,
if I lose, do you kill me?
Like, yeah, am I gonna die there? And then they'd go like, and I go, okay, well, I'm still gonna do it, but now I know. So, yeah. I feel like it definitely sounds like that. I think the fun part of this, originally when I started watching it, I watched the first episode, which is very straightforward, like what you'd expect. And then the second episode starts, and I'm kind of like, I don't really want to do this. I want to do something different. And you'll know what it is when you see it. And then by the 8th or 9th episode, I was like, good thing we did that second episode. And the structure of it's very interesting for a show where the premise is people play 6 games. So you'd figure 6 episodes, 7 episodes maybe, for like setting up maybe the last game or whatever. But it's 9 episodes, and you just have a lot of time to sit with these guys and figure out what makes them tick. So it's cool. It's got subtitles and dubs. I've heard the dubs are not very good. Or not very good. I hear they're good, but distracting. So if anybody can deal with the subtitles, I definitely recommend that.
I maintain it's better to listen in the original intended language. I believe that for Star Wars Visions.
I'm
true for this.
I watched the first Visions, and then I haven't had time to watch the other ones, but I'm sure they're good.
That's why
how much of them did you watch, guys?
I'm like halfway through.
Okay.
Diggins, you gotta watch it. You'd love it. You'd love Visions.
That remains to be seen, DJ.
I have heard that the Trigger one is the best one. So,
which of the Trigger ones? Because the Trigger one I saw is not the best one, but I heard the other Trigger one is the best one.
I know there's one called the Twins. I didn't know there were 2.
Yeah, so the Twins is not the one that's the best one. The Twins is good, but I don't think it's the best.
Oh, really? But I didn't know they did 2. That's interesting.
They did, yes. Yeah.
Which is that? What's the other one?
Oh, I'd have to go back and look.
Okay.
Hold. Yeah.
Interesting.
But
yeah,
you should watch it. You should watch.
And I think like What If I'm enjoying it more than I was. But a lot of it comes from, like, this really dramatic kind of thing that happens in episode 8 that really just ratchets things up to 11. And it creates these stakes that I don't think are necessarily, like, you need them for the whole series to be good. And I think you could do a fun what if series without them. But if there were stakes, I kind of wish we always knew what they were. I don't know. It's a hard balance to strike, but it's almost done, so it's kind of interesting.
The Elder is the name of the other Studio Trigger one, which
I've heard. I've heard that one thrown around in lists of the good ones too. Yeah. So, what are we doing next week, fellas? I'm so excited. It's finally
Venom. Here. Let there be carnage.
Yeah. Did you guys
What's
know?
the song he What?
What's up?
What's the song he sings in the trailer?
Venom, venom, venom.
I say
venom, venom, venom.
Oh, you're talking about the "Let's Call the Whole Thing Off" song?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, you're right. Venom, Venom, Venom is the most important Venom song, and apparently Eminem has a song on the new album as well. Although I don't know if it's the trailer song or not.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like I don't know if I like those movies. I'm still not sure. And by those movies, I mean the first one. But I've heard the second one's a lot like the first one. But, like, if I do like them, they better go all in on the shitty Eminem-iness of it. Like, so
sure.
More Eminem, the better. But don't get too self-aware with it, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Anything to plug, fellas?
Same. Roses and Rejections, covering the end of Bachelor in Paradise. Going too long. You can't do a Paradise Summer show going into October. Come on. At least F-Boy Island got it right with, like, the release schedule.
Yeah, why is that? Is it because of COVID delays and stuff?
No, they're just bad. Like, they don't know how to release a show. Like, it's been in the can forever. They're just they wanted it to roll into the Bachelorette, but, like, they're idiots. They don't know what they're doing. And The Circle, maybe Michelle and I are, like, disgusted with the current. Well, not disgusted, but, like, we're like as low as you could be on it. While still being able to, like, legally have to cover it. But yeah, we're trying our best. Everything's crazy, but yeah, definitely at least The Bachelor and all that stuff. So yeah, check that out in the Pop Break TV feed.
What about you, Diggins? Anything to plug?
Just my usuals. You have my newsletter at a littleperspective.substack.com, and I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/thisisanodname. Even though I haven't updated out of those things forever, don't worry about that part. There's still places you can find my stuff.
Hey, you were in Turkey, so you know that's a whole thing.
Yeah. I would say I also am doing those things. I'm hoping I will stream this Hot Wheels game. I like streaming games that you pick up and put down, like, pretty quickly. Like, Overwatch was good at that, but I didn't really stream Overwatch, so I was embarrassed. But I could see having fun streaming the Hot Wheels game. So twitch.tv/NandoVMovies is where to do
Let me know when you play what you get it on, man. I'm all in.
I think I'm getting
it
it for PC, since that's what another friend of ours said. And also, just, like, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to get it because my PS4 hard drive is starting to fill up, and with all the downloading everything, it's just, like, not worth putting more stuff on there until I get a PS5. But yeah, so I hear it's great, and I hear one of the things I hear that's so funny about it is they don't, not that funny, but that they don't do
microtransactions.
Yeah, microtransactions.
And, like, they absolutely should, right? They'd be able to like vacuum up more money.
Yeah, because they have, like, all these classic.
Micro Machines is an entirely different brand.
Oh, and maybe the vacuums would, like, suck up the cars too. Like, maybe a vacuum is a big boss. But the idea of, like, yeah, all these classic Hot Wheels cars that you actually, like, you don't think you know and love, but then you see the trailer and you're like, oh, I do know that car. Like, I remember having a car that was that. Like, everyone would buy those in a heartbeat. So it's nice that they don't have that. But yeah, so maybe I'll do that. As far as that, just videos and stuff, all that stuff on Nando V Movies. Don't know what the next one's going to be yet, so we will see. Yeah, and then next week we'll just be doing the Venom and Let There Be Carnage. I hope everyone can see it safely. Week after that, Dune, and then week after that, No Time to Die.
Yeah,
so
you got a pretty set schedule.
Oh, and what's the update on? Oh, what were you saying?
No.
We're not doing No Time to Die after Venom because it comes out that week.
Wait, when does it come out?
It comes out the weekend of the 9th.
Oh, is it before Dune?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I got those two confused. Yeah, Venom, No Time to Die, Dune. What's I gonna say? Any updates on the thing, on the football thing?
Oh yeah, I can't see who's winning. It'll be crazy if there is a winner. I don't know if it's gonna be like honor system or whatever, because it just won't let me see. I can tell you how many people are left, but that's like super uninteresting.
That's true.
Let's see. If I go to our mostly nitpicking group, we have oh my gosh, we have 41 people left. So
I feel like that's near like 2/3.
it is. Yeah, it's just above 2/3.
So cool.
Who knows when we'll know who's winning? So yeah.
Cool. All right. Next week, Venom. Until then, I am at Nando View Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.